Hi, Janice. Yeah, they're at David Lee Roth tonight. So he said there wouldn't be a show unless he changed his mind today. I've never really done this before, and I don't plan on doing it a lot. LOL. It was just like an experiment, and I kind of missed. I kind of miss not being on and talking to everybody. So thanks for being my very first chatter at my very first live show. Thank you, dear. Can you hear me? There we go. Okay. Yeah, no, he said that Wednesday. Like I said, unless he changed his mind today, but I didn't, he didn't say anything to me if he did, because I don't know what time the Van Halen, or not the Van Halen, the David Lee Roth show was. I assume it's in the evening. So Steve Gunner, hello, brother. Probably it's Facebook. I don't know how to do the StreamYard thing. Okay, I see now that it's working. Was okay. Yeah, I don't know. This is just something to try, and I figure when I do this, it'll be working on a guitar. But right now, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go through and kind of organize my my Floyd Rose stuff. So I thought I'd just go ahead and test it and see if it works. So I figured I'd do it that way. And I thought, well, if people show up, people show up. If not, then it must not have worked. Yeah, and unless something changed, Janice, he said we weren't doing a show tonight. So test it, see if it worked. But I actually need to buy label tape. I have. These are the old style and these are for the Floyd Rose from the 80s, and then now some of the Chinese tremolos use these, so I always keep just a handful in case one strips out, because they do strip out pretty easy. This is my fine tuners, and since I ran out of tape for my label maker, I got to kind of like move this over. But I will answer any questions, or if you got any concerns or comments or questions, please let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And Janice, we need to get your one Telecaster fixed. I can walk you through that so you can fix it. So there's the fine tuning screws. And I have a whole, I don't know how many drawers are there. 5, 10, 15. And while I was there, her husband come out, and he's the lead guitar player for the band Bolt Action. And they're kind of like a punk rock band. Well, he came out and he's like, hey, he said, what would you charge for a Floyd Rose and to neck down and cut the neck down and install a nut? And I was like, well, for what? And the guy's got a Fender Squire Mustang. And they want me to paint it road cone orange, route it out, and put a Floyd Rose on it and a nut. So it's funny. And 5 minutes ago that I told him I would do that. So that's one thing that I'll be doing a video on. He just bought this Squire, and it's blue metallic. It's like the color blue of that base I painted, Steve Ayers base. And he wants it road cone orange with a Floyd Rose and locking nut. So I will be routing that out and getting it going. And I'll do videos of that and have it on here. I'm sorry about the buffering, everybody. I'm going through Facebook Live, not through StreamYard. So, and this is the first time I've ever done this. So I it's kind of like doing it on its own, I guess. So I am trying to, I got enough saddle screws like for Floyd, and then this whole thing. These are the original. Well, there is one. That's the cheaper stainless steel. These are the original ones. I have this whole thing right here. It's nothing but Floyd Rose stuff. Let's see, Ron, did JB ever finish that slow gear pet? Actually, Skyprop has that. I painted it and got that part all done and sent it to Skyprop because he works in electronics like that, I guess. And then he had it all done and then broke the board. Somehow something happened to the board, so he had to buy another pedal and just use the, obviously the box that I had painted. And then while all that was going on, he lost his father and his sister. So there's, it's like no pressure on getting it done. So he's not that far from me, and we are going to we're going to meet up. I'm going to meet him up at over in Robinson Township at the Guitar Center in Burgatory over there. And then these are all German blocks, and then here's the specials. And then he's going to give it to me at that time. But yeah, his dad died first, and then his sister, or maybe it was his sister first, then his dad. And he had a job change. It's like three major things happened to him in a 2-month period or 3-month period. So he's still around, but his work schedule changed, so he's not in the chats anymore that much. But he is still contacts me through WhatsApp, and yeah, he's going to try it that way. Hi, Michael B. Hey, did your the pics get there? I never checked. Michael, this is just like a test thing. I don't plan on doing this a lot because I told Johnny that I have no desire to do this kind of stuff. But since there was no show tonight, I decided, you know what, I'll go ahead and give it a try just in case I ever have to do it. And then, I wasn't on last night's show because my shoulder's killing me, and I had taken some medicine that they gave me. And Laz had sent me a link to the show, but I was passed out. And then when I finally did wake up and realized what was going on, they were almost done. And I was in no shape to be on air last night. That medicine really hit me really hard for that shoulder pain and relaxing. So I heard Lav was drinking apple juice, and I would have made him look like a genius. Here's the these are saddle screws. It says nut screws. Yeah, those are saddle screws. These are the cheaper ones. When you get the stainless steel, you can get the cheaper ones. They have a rim around them, or like a knurled spot around them. But I have since, that's why there's not very many here, I quit going with these, and I now go with these right here from Monster Bolts. Much better stainless. No knurls, nice and smooth there, and on the nut screws. Yeah, right here. Here's the Monster Bolt kit. You can just buy the kits from them. I try to get all my supplies, excuse me, as far as nuts and bolts and all that stuff. So I just get most everything from Monster Bolts. So there's a hint for you guys. You can go there, and also let's see, that's a this drawer here. Strat style screws. How many guys have a Strat? And then not only do you have the Strat, but when you adjust the bridge, the set screws come out, and you end up cutting your hand or catching your hand on it. They Monster Bolt sells all different sizes, American Strats, Mexican, all the Wilkinson type thing. So I just buy, these are like under $1 a set. So I just buy a bunch of them, keep them stocked. And then when I have to work on something Strat wise, then I can eliminate that wrist cutting issue. I got all kind of containers full of stuff. Okay, so that is, there we go. Now that's saddles. That's not, let's see if I have enough tape to do this. I need to buy another one of these, a couple more of these tape things tomorrow. Let's see. I don't know if I got enough. If I do, it'll probably be about the end of it. Yeah, Greasy. Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, Skyprop is going to finish it. I know he ended up buying a whole nother pedal just for the board because he had it all done and something happened, and he explained it to me, but that was like a few months ago. And something happened, and he tried to repair it, and somehow the board broke. I don't know if the board cracked or one of the soldering things, something happened to it. And he couldn't just buy that board, so he had to buy the whole pedal to replace Johnny's board. And that's what he's actually going to end up, well, he's got everything but the board, which kind of sucks because the pedal was, I think, was $60 or $70. So he spent that for a board, and he's not going to be able to build the pedal. So let's see. I'm trying to find. See, I also have, I get the other kits, and I can take these out too. The upgrade kits. And then every time you get a 6 upgrade, they always give you 7, 1 extra all the way across. So I use them, and then I still have extra left over. Then when I buy another kit, so eventually, when you buy the kit, this is what it looks like. And there's actually 3 black springs in here too. So here's the best thing. If you was to buy this stuff separately, like these right here are $28 just for those 6 screws for the lock the string in. So 6 of those is like $28 to $32. It's like $18 for 2 springs. These are like $8. These are like $8. So you're looking close to $100, but you can buy the kit for $60 to $63. And I got this one on eBay, brand new from oh crap, it just came in the other day. High-tech, sports high-tech guitar stuff. And I had it saved on my eBay list, and they special offered it to me for $53. So, I mean, I never know what I'm going to be upgrading or working on. So that's why, like I said before, I don't turn down any parts. And Greasy, I don't know if you heard me before or not, but there's a kid that has your Gibson. I only had that here for less than 2 weeks, I think. And I got a call from one of my teacher friends and asked me if I had anything. He's like, "You have anything cheap that's playable?" Or they don't have anything, and blah blah blah. The regular story. And I said, "What's the kid like?" He's like, "Well, he likes Les Pauls." So I took yours and the hollow body one I got from Rich also for to give away like that. And the kid picked the solid. I think he liked the big gold tuners and all that stuff, and the fine tune on the bridge. So yeah, so some kids got it, and he's now been taking lessons for that's probably a couple months ago. So I'm sure he's enjoying it. And I did tell him it was a Gibson. I didn't tell him, I didn't lie and say, "Hey, here's a Les Paul for you." But so if you guys want to see, when I say I have my Floyd Roses, okay, that's German bars. There's different nuts. There's stainless steel. Stainless steel. Stainless steel. Oh, stainless, that's what I'm put that out. Stainless steel blocks. I need to put that out here. But yeah, then you come down here, the red, the green. There's the claws. Mounting studs. Shims. There's some regular black block screws. There's factory black. All the saddle screws, all factory. These are the blocks come out of the specials, the Floyd Rose specials, and these are all German blocks. So if you guys ever need any blocks or anything, here's some cheap blocks. I used my last brass one. I got one really good one. So the last brass one I use, and you come down. Saddles for a special, which I do not recommend, but when people can't afford to get upgraded saddles and they strip them out, I got to have them around. Wrench sets. There's some more special saddles. Oh, that's for the Floyd. Oh, that's for the ESP tremolo. That's a couple empty drawers, fine tuners, arm mounts, and here's the. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the tray of arms. I got chrome, black chrome. So, I said I've been working on Floyds for 40 years. And then let's see. Oh, the factory black. That's a whole tray full. There's probably, I don't even know how many. That thing's completely full. It's heavy. And then the factory springs. I think there should be another. That's the Steel Factory. Then you come over here and you got the red and black, the noiseless ones. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to Floyd's, I got pretty much everything. And I do have, where's that now? I need to get a hold of Garguts, because Johnny had made the comment that Garguts was looking for a Floyd Rose. Alex, you're just who I need to talk to. Get a hold of Garguts for me. Johnny said he needed a Floyd. So it's a Floyd Special EVH. 32 block on the back. So, yeah, kind of get a hold of Garguts for him, because I got on his live stream the other day and told him to get a hold of me, but I don't think he saw it. Then I have this Jackson one, which is really weird because it's made like the Floyd Rose Pro that they no longer make because it flopped. And this was given to me, and I've never tried it yet on anything. So instead of the screw that locks the block in going all the way through, it's just basically a short, and then it has like a section on the bottom that comes underneath, which then does the fine tuner. So this obviously was harder to make, so I don't even know why they even did this. But if he wants a black tremolo, I have this one. Oh, a little piece for the bar? Okay. Yeah, let me know what he needs. I'll send it to you, or send it to him. I'll send it to you. You can send it to him, or y'all send it to him, whatever. Just let me know what he needs. I mean, you look here, I got pretty much anything. This thing probably weighs 10 pounds. I got pretty much anything you need right there. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there's all the bars. Now these are off. Most of these are off the German Floyds, because I put the push-in bars in all mine automatically. I help him out. I think I can give away some Floyd stuff. And that I like helping people, and I like whatever it takes to keep the music going. That's that's what I try to do. And Greasy, thank you again for that Les Paul. That kid's enjoying it now. I'm sure he is. And who knows? He got this great Les Paul. I doubt if he probably didn't even know what a Chipson was. But his dad ordered the inlays off of Amazon to replace that one, because you could buy a whole inlay set that goes right in for the customs. So his dad ordered that to fix that. So I know that's fixed now. I told him, I said, drop it off. I'll do it for you. And he's like, no, I can get that. I get it. So he was able to spend $50 to get something to make it proper. So that's all fixed. And like I said, he's had however long that's been now, a couple months of lessons. Let me put this back. I'm going to get the Epiphone from Rich and put it up here on the bench. I haven't even messed with it for a month. And I'm constantly trying to reconfigure this bench area to make it better. So, yeah, hold on. Yeah, I gave that kid the choice between the one you gave me and this one, and he wanted the solid body. Well, I think he was infatuated with the fine tuners and the aftermarket tuners, headstock tuners you had on it. Okay, Alex, I can do that. Just send it in. That's not an issue, not a problem. So this thing actually sounds really good. Of course, the one you sent to did, or the one you sent in did sound great too. I got the action nice and low on this though, because it was way up there before. But this is pretty, and it's a special edition, limited edition. This was only made for 1 year in Korea, from '99 to 2000. And these are actually, if you find, I mean, this one's got some marks on it here. Of course, the chrome's wore off. And it's got a crack in the finish right there. But if you find one of these on Reverb that's in excellent shape, they're going for like $1,200 for this exact one. So, oh yeah, I'm sure it was Greasy, the bling that got that kid's attention. But if that's what it took to get him to play, then that's what it was. And that's all, you know, that's all I want to do, just keep spreading the music, you know, keep the music out there for everybody, and have them learn and keep learning something to sit and say, hey, look, you know. And maybe someday, 20 years from now, when I'm 80 years old, the people I gave something to from you guys to keep them going, they can say, hey, you know what? 20 years ago, this dude from this show was working on guitars and donated parts from people in the show, and that's what got me started. And here I am today, you know, for the music awards. That would be like the ultimate right there. But yeah, this sounds pretty. It's the only issue with this, obviously, is it's neck heavy. I mean, I can reconfigure, you know, the strap buttons where they normally are. I could put it back here. I just don't like leaving that hole. So I figure I'm just going to leave it alone. And this is going to go to someone who needs it. They can do with it what they want. I got it all cleaned up. Went through the wiring, cleaned all the switches. I think I even replaced this. No, did I? I replaced these two pots. Yeah, I replaced those two pots, cleaned everything else, got it all wired back up, and it works fine. So, yeah, I get it. I get it, Janice. I do too. But I will say that zero gravity strap stops that. The only problem is, you know, it's a 3-inch strap, so you kind of got to get used to that. But it makes the guitar weight feel like about half, and it stops it from doing neck dive. So, but I know, Janice, we got to get your Telecaster, that screw fixed on your pickup, so we can go through that. So, Peggy, hey Peggy, what's going on? Oh, you have those? You have the zero gravity? Cool. I got if anybody remembers Scott, that used to be in the chat, he had sent me 2 of them, and I gave one away, and I kept one. Yeah, cable-free guitar. So I kept up this one, and I use this one on the one soloist that's really heavy. But yeah, this kind of, it does. I mean, for me, it stops it. But then again, I mean, I'm pretty sure my shoulders are wider and bigger than yours are, Janice. So that's probably why. But it does work for me. I need to take the Fretzler to these frets. Yeah, so yeah, Greasy, I gave him the choice, man. And between the two, I said, take your pick. And the dad's like, oh, wait, which one's cheaper? I said, which one do you want? And then I was like, he's like, well, oh, yeah. I said, just make sure that your son learns. He just looked at me, and because I was told initially it was the mom, but I think they got joint custody. So, but I told him, I said, there's nothing. Just make sure they use it and learn. I said, and if he doesn't want it, gives up on it later, then you pay it forward, pass the guitar on to someone else if he wants to quit. I put new pickup rings on this too, because the other ones were cracked. All 4 screw holes were all the corners were cracked on all 4 of them. I thought I had another neck pickup Epiphone that was still gold I was going to put in here, but I don't. I have a chrome one, but not a gold one. So, any questions, any comments? Like I said, there's nothing. This was just a test to see if I could even do it. Because I don't have the StreamYard stuff like Johnny, and nor do I know how to use that kind of stuff. This would just go Facebook Live. So I figured I'd try it. And it took me forever to figure out where to give the camera or give Facebook permission to use the camera. It wasn't where it should be, or at least where I thought it would be. And with being on shows usually Monday through Saturday, then not being on one for 2 nights, I was like, well, okay, maybe I'll try this. So that's what I did. I figured I'd just try it, and since they're, like I said, unless he changed it, but I mean, it's 9:30. I don't know it will be 6:30 there. I'm sure the show doesn't start till 7 or 8. So yeah, there wouldn't be a show tonight. So anything you guys want to talk about? Questions about gear, about your gear, about my gear, how to fix something, how to break something. I'm used to be pretty good at that too. Well, thank you, Peggy. I'm using that. This used to be my camera that I used to have on the computer that you saw the room with until I bought the new camera, and I'm just using the microphone on that camera too, because I'm not even going through the Rodecaster because I'm not using StreamYard. And I like I said, I barely was able to get YouTube to work that camera. I know damn well I wouldn't have got to use the Rodecaster. So, well, thank you. I know I guess it was buffering and freezing a lot at the beginning. Why is that almost closed? There we go. I know it was buffering and freezing a lot right there at the beginning. So, breaking and fixing stuff. Well, that's how I learned to fix a lot of stuff. I broke it first. There you go, Michael B. That'll work. Yeah, I can't. The phone's right there. Yeah, I don't know if that got there today or tomorrow. I think it was either today or tomorrow those pics were supposed to be there. So you should have them. I did get, I can't show that. I did get the, in my Sunburn Charvel, I did get the pickups, DiMarzios out of it, and I put the Seymour Duncans in, and the DiMarzios are on their way to Johnny. He should have them Monday. And we worked out a trade, so I ended up giving him the 2 DiMarzios, that original 59 Van Halen pickup, which was only a 2 conductor, only had 1 wire coming out of it, and the wire mesh coating So you actually grounded the wire coating and then had one wire to hook to your hot, and that was it, which is what Eddie used originally in 78, 79. So I gave Johnny those 3 pickups and that AI tracking thing that I don't use. You just put your camera on it and then it'll follow you around when he walks around the room. So I traded all that to him for a brand new FU-Tone chrome tremolo. Especially since he's a Vega trem guy now. Hold on, let me get that. Okay. So here we are with the new Seymour Duncan. And this is a custom 5, and that is a Jazz. And in the green one, it's a Jazz and an HS6. The green Charvel's like this, but where that's basswood and this is ash, and this is a lot heavier. Man, this has a killer sound now. And it has, I finally got that thicker bottom end sound out of these, which I knew I would, that I wasn't getting out of the DiMarzios. So, and Johnny's going to put this is, yeah, well, I don't know if he said it or not, but I'll let you know what it was. So he's got a red and yellow pickup coming, and he's going to put him in his green Crackle Les Paul Firefly. So it's going to be green, yellow, red. It's like a Christmas. Peggy said, yeah, he did say it because Peggy said Christmas guitar. So that's what that's going to be. So this one was made in Korea. The green one was made in Mexico. And I've been a Charvel. Actually, I had Charvel before I ever had Jackson, but they were always Charvel by Charvel Jackson, or maybe it was Jackson Charvel. So I've always been a big fan of Charvel from probably 84 on, and then Jackson. So yeah, green, red, and yellow, yeah. But it's that Les Paul, that green Crackle Les Paul Firefly he was playing the other day. He's going to put them in that, which will definitely improve the sound of it. But I like a certain deep bottom end, and I could not get him out of those DiMarzios. Now, granted, that wasn't the Aaron Norton and all the other ones. It was just a regular distortion. So. But this made this guitar sound so much different, and I love this guitar. I love the neck profile. I mean, it's a look at that. I mean, that's the kind of necks I like. Small necks. I don't like the baseball bat type necks. I don't like the thick C type necks. That's why I was never really a Les Paul guy. I mean, I had back in the 80s, I had 87, 88. Whenever they came out with a thin body Les Paul, that was pink. I know, pink. It was pink on the front, and it was like half the thickness of a regular Les Paul. I had one of those only because they were the new thing out at that time, and I don't even think I had it. I know I didn't have it over 6 months. So I had somewhere between 4 and 6 months, and I quickly got rid of it. And then I had an all white with gold hardware Gibson Les Paul, and I just don't like the necks. They're just too, yeah, they're not for me. But that's what makes this world go around. if everybody liked the same thing, it'd be boring as hell, wouldn't it? So yeah, I did order. I have they're this color red titanium fine tuners coming, and I got a blue set for the blue crackle. I do have the red set already on the red soloist, and again, functionality. It they're titanium, big deal. Performance wise, who knows? But I like to personalize it. That's why I did like that to the headstock. So you got the red bushings right there, and they're titanium. So you can tighten them down and not crack them like you do the plastic ones. Then the red rings on the post. And it's funny because most people don't recognize that stuff. They don't realize it. But it's just stuff I do that I like it. Alex, I found a neck on, well, again, it's on the phone. I can't show you. I found a neck on Reverb. It's a Stratocaster neck, fretless. And it wasn't one that someone just removed the frets from, then filled the grooves. It was never grooved. It's a fretless Strat neck for like $199. I have one on my watch list that actually dropped in price, another guitar. Well, Brent, was you with Brent yesterday when he stopped at the store? Alex? When he stopped at the Guitar Center and checked that one out for me? I don't know how long a gap there is. Delay here. No? Okay. Yeah, he went to the Guitar Center, and it was a Jackson soloist, and it said fluorescent yellow or something like that. And he stopped and played it and sent me pictures of it. He's like, first thing he says, this thing is, looks wise, it's brighter than the sun. So he played it and sent me a bunch of pictures. Said surprising, because I go, well, I assume it's going to need set up, because every time Johnny plays one at Guitar Center, it's always messed up. And Brent's like, surprisingly, it's set up and it's in drop D and it was in tune. So apparently what I do when I go to Guitar Center is I have the key handle here too, but I take the 3mm Allen wrench with me in my pocket. And if it's not in tune, I'll set it up, tune it, not set it up, obviously, but I'll unlock the tuners, the nut, and tune it, then lock everything back down. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he went and checked it out, and he said it's brighter than the freaking sun. He said it was a little bit on the heavy side. It's really weird. My Crackle soloist, there's 6 of them over there, and even though they're the same guitar, just different colors, that blue one, that Rich, the last one Rich bought for me, that blue Crackle. Matter of fact, I put a blue kit on the tremolo on that, and I have blue tuners coming for it too. Wait, let me get it. Again, I mean, yeah, it's stainless stuff, so it's better than the regular original stuff. But I just do it for look. Like I put the shiny backing behind it instead of the black. But this one, let's see, the lime green one is the same as this. The yellow and black Crackle is the same design as this. And all 3 of them weigh different amounts. This thing is so light. This thing feels like it's about 6 pounds. But yet they're identical. So, I've had people say, "Oh, that you doing that stuff? That's just like for vanity." No, I just like to make it mine. That's all. Set it apart. Because how many blue crackles do you see? I did put blue on the nut screws. I have to get blue washers here. And then the blue I did change the tuners, the Grovers, took the Jackson tuners off. Changed the knobs, changed the switch, German Floyd with the upgrade, and then it's got the Dimebucker bridge pickup. So, but I do have from Soul Drifter Guitars in Australia. They do ship to the U.S. again now, and you can buy titanium screws in different colors. So they had a real dark blue. So I got a blue. It's not as dark as this, but it's not light as this. So I figured it's, in between this and this. Because I put them on the red one. Wait a minute. That's good. But I did put them on here, the red ones. So there's the same thing, just blue to match that. And that's another red kit. Did the red there and did red up here and on the back, the washers. And again, it's just, yes, it's stainless steel, so it does help the sound a little bit and, it'll last better. But I mean, the color wise, that's just something I just like to do. Like, again, like I said, to make it mine. That's like the Floyd Rose. I colored it in red. And again, performance wise, it doesn't mean a damn thing, but looks wise. So I went with like an orange, a red, and a yellow on there to color that in. Everything's getting dusty. Everything got dusty when I worked on, as far as doing this bench and building those shelves. But that rainbow crackle one, let me explain this. That is from Rich, and that's the very first guitar I got from him. But there was a trade, so I'm doing his fender. I'm painting his fender red with white polka dot Buddy Guy. So it was like he bought that guitar, and then I do the paint for that guitar. Kind of evens it out. This one he just bought it for me. So, but I told him, hey, later on down the line, you got something you need done, let me know. So, and then he did buy two more, the Firefly, Buck Owens telly, and then the tiger or Bengal striped West Creek, which I decided I am going to route that out and put a Floyd on it, and then I got to trim, obviously, a nut to make, or the fretboard up there, headstock, to put a nut on it too. Well, I'm sorry, but that guitar just screams 80s and needs a Floyd on it. So, yeah, I mean, Rich is well, a lot of you guys, big supporters of the show, and believe me, I well, that's another reason why I did this. I missed, and I think Johnny laughs at me when I tell him this. I said, but I love the people in the chat, man. I love talking to them. I became friends with a bunch of them. And I wasn't on since the day. I was like, well, maybe I'll do that and see if it works. So, I think Johnny thinks I'm just saying that, but I'm not. I really do. And I'm not, I won't hide anything I do here. It's like a big trade secret. That's not me. Anybody needs help, if I can help them, I'll help them. If you need me just to talk you through something while you do it, then that's fine. I'll do that too. But I mean, a couple that were troublemakers, that aren't actually around anymore, that's fine. But I think it's a great community, and I really do love talking to you guys. I mean, I don't have a show, and I'm on 5 days out of 7, and I don't get a dime for any of this. I mean, the stuff I do send out, I pay for. The stuff I'm giving away, I've paid for. So I'm not doing it for money, obviously. I love building the kits, and that was cool, Rich buying the kits for us to build live on the show. And yet those 2 kits that I did, the red Telly or the red Strat, that will be one going to somebody also. And then the kind of the Jackson Concord, which it's actually still out in the garage. The body is, I gotta come up with a paint design for it. Because I tried a certain kind of paint and it didn't work. I sanded it all back off, and it's still sitting out there on the bench. But Alex, yeah, great community, really. And Laz is a sweetheart. All you guys are. I'm not up here. I'm not here to blow smoke up anybody's ass. I'm not going to sit here and say I worked for who for 3 years and I did. I know when I first got on the show, the other co-host, which I ended up replacing, didn't believe a word I said. I don't think he knew I knew I could do anything. MPN, what's happening, brother? So yeah, he didn't. He even accused me that in the before the show. I don't know why you give advice. You don't know how to fix anything, and yet I've had to repair 2 of his guitars now that he's done. You talk about someone doesn't know what the hell they're doing. MPN, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Thank you, Michael B. So, I got nothing to hide. I've been working on Floyd's for 40 years this year, and I've been doing guitar work probably 42 years, maybe. A little bit, I tried to build my first guitar when I was in 7th grade, which was funny. That was 76 and 77. And I actually made, and I got to find the pictures. I cut a V out, and they were joking around with me. So I had the shape. I had cut half of it. So I had the 2 wings and the centerpiece with the neck for the neck. And I had made a template. I traced the first horn out, cut it, which was the long side. And I was actually just going to make a V, a flying V. And then somebody in my class, I don't know who, cut the pattern, the template I had. They made it shorter. and I didn't realize it. So I traced it out on the other piece and cut it out. I put them together, and I actually had Randy Rhodes' Concorde, the long V and the short V, 2 years or 3 years before he did. Mine, it was by accident. So I had a walnut neck and a walnut strip down the middle, and then the two ends were oak, the two sides. So, and you'll never, and I know I've never said this on Johnny's show, you'll never hear me say, well, I can do it all my way or the highway. No, that's not. I like I said, I don't hide anything here. I mean, I'll show you. You guys have seen the bench. You've seen the stuff. I do it on the show. Hell, I even showed you how to do the hollow flashing. I got nothing to hide, and if someone needs help, I'll help them. I don't do it for money. Do I need money? Yeah, we all need money, but I believe I'm a big believer in karma. I swear to God, big believer in karma, and I think maybe someday it'll come back, and someday it'll come back, and I'll get rewarded for trying to leave. Damn it! And this is only Grand Grape, trying to live a life like that. Because I mean, growing up Italian, my grandfather, my nonna, there's like a person's your friend. How did he word that? Damn, they've been dead. Both of them died in 1999, so I haven't heard it since then. But a person's your friend till they prove you wrong, and even then, you give them another, check the reason or something. I don't remember how they said it. My nonna always said it in Italian, so it was hard to translate because some words don't translate very good. So I was always treat people the way I want to be treated, and I've always done that. And from a kid, when I was a kid with Hot Wheels, we playing on the block. If the neighbor kids didn't have a lot of Hot Wheels, I gave them some. Not to use, I gave them to them to keep. I've done that I've always been like that. I'm not saying it to brag, it's just how I was raised. And that's what I don't think Johnny doesn't understand. Because Johnny said, at least I hope he's joking. He's like, eventually you'll turn on me and leave like everybody else did. And I keep laughing and saying, well, obviously you've never met anybody like me, because that's not how I was raised. I wasn't raised that way. I wasn't. My grandfather, I may have told this once in one of the shows, but used to cut wood every year, all summer long for winter, because we still do all have wood burners. And my grandfather, if you were 15 minutes early, you were a half hour late in his eyes. That's just how he was. So we went to cut wood one day, and I had stopped at a hardware store and bought a Homelight chainsaw. So I showed up probably somewhere within 5 to 15 minutes late, actually really late. Like I forget what time, say, just for sake of argument, say 11 in the morning. I probably showed up, somewhere between 5 and quarter to 11. And he stands there and he's like, he just looks at his watch. And I said, I know. I said, don't worry about it. But I stopped and got this, and we'll more than make up for it. And I was 17. I think I was 17. And he comes over to the truck, pulled the tailgate. So I hand it to him. He reaches in his back pocket, grabs a pair of pliers, takes a spark plug out. And I'm thinking, it's brand new. Why would you look at the spark plug? Then he chucks the spark plug as hard as he could over in the woods. And I just looked at him. I'm like, what? I wasn't going to yell at him. It was my grandfather. And one thing in an Italian family is respect. Believe me, that more than you would ever imagine. So he handed it back to me. I'm standing looking at him. He goes, set it down. So I put it down on the bed. I had the tailgate. I set it down on the tailgate. And he hands me an axe. He said, if you're going to do a man's job, you do it like a man. That's how I was raised. That's how he looked at things, and that's what you did. I mean, this guy made, when his sister, my aunt, which I never met, she died long before I was ever born. When she died, he made the marble stone that's in the graveyard still for her. So yeah, I was raised that way. You jump in, you do it. If your neighbor's putting a roof on his house or working on the house or working on his car, you don't stand around there and watch him. Jump in and help him. That's just how I was raised. And it's like, don't be afraid to show. He pounded it into me. No matter how good you are or how good you think you are, the minute you stop thinking that you know it all, or the minute you start thinking you know it all and no one can teach you anything, he said, that's when you'll fail. So I don't hide anything I do here. I'll answer any questions. I'll show you what I'm doing. And I can still learn stuff from everybody. I always keep an open mind. So that's just, I lived that my whole life. And believe me, oh my God, believe me, you don't want Italian women pissed at you, especially if you're a male. I can tell you from experience, cast iron skillets hurt. Yes, they hurt. I've been hit with cast iron skillets from my aunts. So, yeah. That's just, and I tried to explain that to Johnny, and Johnny never had that kind of home life. So he doesn't understand it. And and that's why, I had a hard time explaining to my wife why I spent $3,000 on a studio. It had nothing to do with recording music, because I'm sure she knew I was doing the studio for music, but for the podcasting stuff. I spent almost $3,000 total. And she couldn't understand why I was doing that for someone else's show when I'm not making a dime from it. And I told her, I said, well, two things. You've known me forever. We've been married 38 years, and you knew me before that. I'm on Johnny's show. I'm honored to be on Johnny's show. And he had made the comment before that the other guys who now started the other two shows that slam him all the time for, again, I don't know why they do that, especially after all these many years. He'd made the comment that, the whole time they were on his show, he's like, dude, you need headphones. And they wouldn't do it. They refused to do it. But when they started their own show, they got all this stuff. So I figured, okay, I'll prove to Johnny that I'm serious. And I went out and bought all this stuff to bring up my end of his show to make sure it was professional. And at first, and I can't blame him for thinking this because of what happened with the other guys, all the other guys. At first, I think that he thought I was doing this so I could break off and do my own thing, which I don't plan on doing. I don't know how to use the StreamYard stuff. this is like, again, I'm lucky to do this live on Facebook. So, but I wanted to prove to him that I was serious, and I'll do my best to hold up my end of the show so it doesn't look unprofessional or whatever. And no, me falling out of the chair was not planned. That was a true accident. That was because I put the rollerblade wheels on the chair, and when I stood up, it kicked out from behind me, and I didn't know it. And then when I sat down, I wasn't even hardly on it, and it shot out the rest of the way. And you guys all saw what happened there. So even though some people thought we staged that, but I do my own stunts between that fall and the fall in the garage the other day. Yeah. So my shoulder, I go to the doctor. I go to the doctor Wednesday. And from what I've talked to him, because I've had 3 surgeries on it. So here's the bad part. My rotator cuff has torn 3 times. The last time it tore, I actually went to a Dr. Jewell in Pittsburgh who does all the shoulder operations for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's one of their orthopedic surgeons. And I think he does the Pirates too, and the Penguins. And he come out and said he's never seen a because it had been fixed twice before by another doctor. So he said he's never seen one tear like that. He said mine tore like an envelope, like a V and a V, like 4 pieces folded in. So he fixed it, and he's like, "You're never going to be 100%. You don't even think." But when I went to him, honest to God, I could not. If I would stick my arm out to my side, like like that, like you're just holding your arm straight, not in front of you, out to your side, I could not even bring my right arm level to my shoulder. It was somewhere in between. It was down. Like if it was an arm and a clock, it'd be a little bit between 8 and 9 o'clock, and I could not get any higher than that. So he told me I had all the tests and everything, and he's like, okay. He said, you're not going to be 100%, but I guarantee you I can get you better. I'm like, cool. So he made where I can lift my arm up that way, probably 10 o'clock, which to me was great. I was like, all right, great. So he come out and he told my parents, why did that kick on? He told my parents that if it would tear again, the way he had to repair it and the way it was torn before, that there would be a complete shoulder replacement. So when I see my regular doctor Wednesday, he's going to order some test MRIs and stuff. And then if it's tore like I think it is, because I've been through this many times, 2 on the left shoulder, 3 on the right, I'm probably going to be looking at a complete shoulder replacement, but I'm going to put it off till after the first of the year, if that's what has to happen. So it hurts like hell. They gave me, they gave me Vicodin and some kind of muscle relaxer. I don't like taking that stuff, but I have to. So that's why, I didn't see Laz's invite to his show last night when he initially sent it. I didn't see it till after they were almost done. And again, I was in no shape to get on a show. I'd have been like Laz on about 10 glasses of apple juice. So, Alex, did Garguts get back with you yet? Let me know what he needs. Then have him give him. Well, I'll just text me his address. So yeah, that was the basics of yesterday and why. But again, I got nothing to hide. I'll show anybody anything I do. That's why this thing for Cece's guitar, which I had to take the kill switch and switch out of it. to paint the clear on it. But here's the thing. You never, at least the guitars that I've ever seen, have you seen, Greasy, if you're still here, let me know if you've ever heard of this before. So I had to put a three-way switch. Well, this one's a 5, but I had to put a three-way switch in his Beretta Special that only has one pickup. So what I'm doing is I'll even show them to you. Here's the capacitors. So that's going to be wired up. Where's the other one? Wait a minute. So we got a big orange drop. Okay. And then we got what they call the vitamin T. So look how big those capacitors are. These are going in that Beretta Special with a three-way switch and one pickup. So what it's going to be is how I'm going to wire it up is all the way back will be just a pickup like it would be normal. Then when you flip it in the middle, well, here's the actual switch, USA made switch. So when you flip it in the middle, it's going to be the pickup with one capacitor. Then when you flip it to the third position, it's going to be either, see which way sounds better, pickup in the second capacitor or pickup in both capacitors together. Yeah, so that's what I'm coming up with for this. So this the Beretta Special that does not have a whole goal with this was between Johnny and Laz and Cece, was to do it like some teenager could go buy a cheap guitar and for not a lot of money, fix it up and make it an Eddie Van Halen guitar. So then when I got it, all of a sudden it was like, well, wait a minute. Now, since you have it, you could do this, and this, which I don't mind doing. That's fine. Whatever. It's a challenge. And I've never wired something up like that before. So it's a learning experience for me and something I'll be able to use going forward. And once I get it in there and done, I will show it on the show. I'll even draw out a diagram in case anybody wants to do it. So I even thought enough on the Fretworks channel, you'll see two videos. One where I cut the hole. Where I cut the hole from the back of the body to install this kill switch. And I put it down here on the lower horn like Laz's green EVH guitar. So it's actually right about in this area where it would be. So I cut through the body, drilled through the body, and I had to use a Forster bit on the drill press, get it down and do that. So I showed how to do that. Then I had to drill the two holes here and then cut that slice in for... Where'd it go? Just had it for that three-way switch. I swear to God, stuff on this bench just disappears. Oh, right here. So I had to cut that in, and I initially was going to put it over there and cut it out like you normally would. I thought, well, wait a minute. A kid may not have the right cutting tools to do this. So I did the video, and what I did was I drilled a series of holes to make the slot. And then I took a X-Acto knife, trimmed it out, and then a flat file and filed it out. So I showed how to do it by hand without, a cutter. I mean, you could do it with you could have one of the oscillating cutters do it. You can have a little mini Dremel tool with a router base on it and do it. But I showed it, most kids can get a drill or at least a drill and a drill bit. So that's why I drilled all the series of holes in line. and then cut them out and then filed it all nice and square with a file. Did it all by hand to show how to do it, which was the idea behind that guitar altogether. So I also have to show, when I get it all wired up, I got to show how to do that on there so they can do that too. The paint job, I thought, well, the kids are going to want it fast. So I just did the front half. The back half still white. And then initially I was going to do it. Everything was nice and crisp and clean and looked like brand new and really bright clear on it. And everybody's like, Eddie never had one like that. Never. Well, he did. The yellow and black, the Bumblebee was for 2 weeks. Then when he brought back to Wayne Charvel for an adjustment, he had it in the case laying on top of screws and everything. It was destroyed. So I thought, you know what? So I started relicing it, wearing it down and stuff like that. And then everything that's on that guitar is on there on purpose to make it look more true to an Eddie style guitar. I actually made it look like it was something Eddie would have done, or a kid trying to do something like Eddie, which goes against pretty much all my standards when it comes to guitar painting. But yeah. No, I have not shown that yet, NPN. I got the I kind of want to show that tomorrow instead of tonight. I do. Everybody knows I had the Camouflage Soloist torn apart. I did put the new blackouts in it, new switch, new pots, battery pack, a new input jack. Got all that in, wired up, working. And then it was initially a dull matte finish, and it's not a paint job. It was a wrap just on the top, and they put a matte finish clear over it. Well, the blue one that I buffed out was also a matte finish clear, but apparently because that was a Soloist Pro and this one was just a regular Soloist, there was more clear on the blue one. So when I was able to sand and buff the blue one out, it looks like it was cleared, even though it wasn't. So when I did the camouflage one, yeah, it got bright or shiny, but it didn't look right. There was just something off on it because it didn't have the thickness of the clear that the other one did. So when I had it all stripped apart, I masked it off the other day and I re-cleared the top of it. So it's now re-cleared. It's all put back together, and I'll show it on tomorrow night's show. MPN has seen pictures of it. So, yeah, he did. He used paint cans and masking tape. And well, that's where Johnny and I don't see the same. You look at my guitars, and I'm doing this extra stuff just to make them mine because I like the way it looks. And you see some of the ones Johnny has. They're beat up, dent up, and that's how he likes them and how he plays them. That's kind of the Eddie thought process, I guess. And I'm not saying it's wrong and I'm right by no means. It's what you prefer. I prefer them to, even when we were on tour. I mean, I was in my band for almost 10 years, just shy of 10 years. We had a record deal. We toured. We had a tour bus. We had roadies, but my guitars still looked like this, even though they were played, 5 nights out of 7 for 3 years. I just prefer it that way. My tools are put away like that. Well, you can't see them now, but they're clean. They're put away. They're organized. My cars are like that. My Hummer, you open the hood, it looks like it's still sitting in the showroom. There's no dirt on the motor or anywhere, even though it's a Hummer. My DeWalt stuff is all hanging and organized. All this stuff's organized. I've just always been that way. So doing that guitar for CC that way goes against I grew up, my dad not only worked for International Harvester, which turned out he worked, when I was little, he worked afternoon shift at International Harvester. So I never saw him because he also had 2 body shops. So from 8 in the morning until 3 p.m., he was at the body shops. And then from 3 p.m. to 11:30, he was working for International Harvester. So I grew up in body shops, and no one ever came in, ever, like you do now. You see they'll pull a car out that's all rusted and stuff. They kind of just like Scotch-Brite over the rust and wipe it down, then clear over all the rust and everything, you know, with the old rat style stuff. Nobody ever came to buy. When the car come out, they wanted it to look like it was brand new. So that's how I grew up, and that's how I kept the guitars. So to do that for CC like I did went against everything I ever did for painting. And again, you know, because I even told in the very beginning, he's like, well, I do this, you know. I kept telling him, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, it's not, no. If you want me to do it, it's going to be this, and you're not going to be able to feel that, and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, it's his guitar. Then I talked to Laz, and Laz would tell me everything that was going on with the initial deal. And then that's when I found out about, you know, if a kid could buy this guitar, what would he do? So that's why I started doing it that way. I'll give you a sneak peek. Well, it's still, it's on the rack. I can't. Hold on. I got to sand it. I got to level sand it. Damn bug landed in it. But look real quick. There. So I'm going to level sand it. Here's the back. So I'm going to level sand it, and then I'm going to throw get it all level sanded, because I want to over top the letters, the 5152. And then once I get it all level sanded, I'm going to take it out in the garage and throw 2 more coats of clear on it. The last coat will be a flow coat. And I don't do it with spray cans. I actually use automotive clear paint, or clear. I use Auto HQ wet car show gloss. So, you know, I do it, and it'll look like, so, I mean, underneath of it, you see the worn lines and the stripes where they were and wearing down everything, but it's still going to have that nice gloss over top of it. So I kind of compromised a little bit there. But I just painted that the other day, so I'm going to let it sit for about a week before I start level sanding it. So, and then again, it'll have 1 coat on it, and then I'll do the final flow coat. And then if everything turns out right, it won't need sanded or buffed. It'll just be like a sheet of glass over top of it. So, any other questions? Anybody want to know what's? And again, for those of you who are new or just showed up here a little bit ago, I was telling Greasy Monkey that his Chipson went to a little young boy that his parents were divorced. I knew they were divorced, and they couldn't afford a guitar. So I got that. I went over that and set it all up, new strings, cleaned all the pots and everything. And then it went to that kid. And then I have the one from Rich also. It was on here a little bit ago. That's going to a kid. The Tees I'll get it. The Tease Telecaster, the Hollow Flash, that's going to go to somebody. Hold on. This will be going to somebody. And I know it looks. No. Yeah, I'm going to hate to see this one go because this is the first one. But so I got this. This will go to somebody. And I usually it's kids, but I have done some to veterans with that needed help, needed something to focus on other than nightmares, and I've given guitars away to them. So so this one will be going, and then Rich bought that other. I hate to give this one away, but I will. Hold on. Rich bought this made in Japan Jackson Performer. And actually, I put the green on that. And yes, it still has the Jackson pickups in it. But these are the old Jackson pickups that are like really, really good. And this thing sounds freaking amazing. So, yeah, it's got some dings in it. A little chip. But I put 2 new pots in it, new switch, because the old switch was like really, really bad. The pickups, I was going to change them to even like a Duncan designed. And then after I went through the wiring and cleaned it all up, put them back in, like, holy crap, these things sound killer. Then I realized these are the old 80s Jacksons, not the new ones that are made by Belco or whatever the hell it is. And they sound great. So I didn't change them. I really hate to give this one away, but that's what I told Rich I'd do, and that's why Rich bought it and had it sent to me. So this will be going. Again, it's a made in Japan Performer. Real pretty flame. Or what? Tiger, not flame. No, it's not tiger. It's yeah, I didn't even want to. I was going to, I thought, well, I can sand it down and redo it with more transparent green. But I mean, there's a nick here, chip there. It is what it is, and it is a made in Japan Jackson, so I wasn't going to mess with it. So this will be going out. But I've had people ask me, and MPN donated his blue, his blue Kramer Beretta Special. And that one I'm going to paint black and hollow flash the top of it. And that one will be going out to somebody. And I have a tendency to say kids, but I mean, I've given them to adults and kids. It doesn't matter. It's just if they can't afford it and they need it, or if they have one and it just needs fixed and repaired and they can't afford the parts. That's what I was getting at. I've had some people text me and say, well, I have this and this, but you wouldn't want that. What do you need? And I like to say that I take pretty much anything because I have no idea. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now I have 7 people out there that notify me when someone comes to them. They're all instructors or all teachers. Sorry, I'm an instructor myself. But they're all music teachers, from high school music to music schools and to teachers at music stores. And they're always, who, I never know who it is or what. I mean, I've had some that, oh, I've had this guitar in the closet for 35 years and now my son wants to play it. Can you do anything with it? And the action's like, you can stick your finger under the action. Or I've had people come in with, they bought a $99 guitar off Amazon and they're like, well, it's not playable. They go to, I bought this guitar to my son and you won't stay in tune. You can't play it. So you can't teach a lesson. So I never know what's going to come across this bench to be repaired. So if anybody wants to donate parts, my email is in, you'll see it tomorrow's show. I take pretty much anything because I just never know what it is. That's why, matter of fact, Greasy, you're still here. The very first box that Greasy sent me had a bunch of stuff in it. And he had these old Kluson style tuners, but they were Grovers. I was like, holy crap, that'll work great. I mean, I've had a lot of guitars come in Kluson style tuners, but yeah, I thought, man, these are Grovers. So I started cleaning them. And then there was only 5. I was like, are you kidding me? So I got them all nice and shiny, but I only had 5 of them. Well, when he sent that Chipson in, I don't know, a couple months ago, the 6th one, apparently he found it, and the 6th one was in there. So I tore it apart and cleaned it. So now I got those. So, Kluson type tuners needed. Now I got 6 Grover, actual Grover Kluson tuners. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't turn it away because I never know what it is I'm going to be trying to fix. I had a guy come in with an old K. It was like early 60s electric K guitar, I think it was. Holy shit. I mean, I had to do everything to that guitar. That was, wow. So I just never know, and a lot of this stuff, if it's really bad, I'll put pots in it. That's true, Greasy. That is. Especially in this case, because like I said, I don't know what it is that I'm trying to fix. That's, Dane is so lucky. People just send Dane, I mean, every week he gets 1 or 2 boxes, gigantic, like you sent me, Greasy, the first time. He gets his boxes of from viewers of all kind of parts. He's got a lot of stuff that I could use, but a lot of the older stuff, because again, it's a lot of old stuff, but or like I said, they'll buy a $99 guitar brand new off of Amazon and thinking, well, it's brand new, it's from Amazon, and then the kid opens it up and it's like, okay, it's a guitar, that's it, it doesn't play, or pots broke, so I'm always fixing something. And then Rich knew that I had given, because before I would go to pawn shops myself and buy guitars at pawn shops, bring them here, fix them up with donated parts, and then give them away. The only thing I charge for is when I do paint jobs. And I'm not doing a paint job on a guitar to give to somebody. It's, the guitar like this, I'm leaving this alone. 2 reasons. 1, it's not that bad. And 2, it's made in Japan, Jackson, so it shouldn't be touched. But I do custom paint jobs for people. That's where I make the money. When I do this stuff, I donate my time. I'm using donated parts or donated guitars and fixing them. And that way I don't have to charge anything to anybody. I'm retired, so this gives me something to do. I love doing this. I love it. Matter of fact, I told Cole, my son, the other day, I said, well, anymore, I'm more of a guitar builder than I am a player. So, well, there you go, Greasy. Have them send it to me, and send that mirrored Jackson too. I am so mad. My wife wanted to get me a guitar because I put all new flooring in upstairs for her, and if you guys go back a couple months on Johnny's show, you heard me say that if I got the mirrored Jackson Soloist and the red or the red Mercury Crackle Jackson Soloist, if I got those two guitars, I would never buy another. First, I said another, and never buy another Soloist. Then I said I'd never buy another Jackson. Then I even went as far as saying if I got those two guitars, I would never buy another guitar without selling one and then replacing it. Just not adding. I'd have to sell one to replace it, not add guitars just to have them. And the red Mercury Crackle, those guitars are so damn good looking, you very rarely find them used. When people buy them, they don't sell them. And I know you wanted those two. She doesn't even care how many guitars I have. She's like, I know you said something about those two, the mirrored one and that reddish one. So I was like, okay. And I started looking, and I found a red Mercury Crackle one. There was two of them. One, the guy wanted like $1,300 for. And this other one, the guy wanted $700, but he wanted like $99 shipping. So she sent an offer into him. She would pay the $100 shipping if he would sell the guitar for $100. And he wrote her right back, said, let me get back with you in an hour. Well, he didn't. It wasn't until about 26 hours later, he got back and said, no, I won't do that. I can't do that. I paid a lot more for it, because those guitars do sell for $1,400. I paid a lot more for it, and by the time I pay shipping and buy a box and all that stuff, I can't do it. So he declined the offer. But he said he would take, he wouldn't do $600, but he said he would take $650. So he declined the offer. So she says, all right, I'll go the extra 50. I'll go $650 for it. So she went to go back, and now he never even listened to the guitar again. So it's no longer available. It's not sold. He just hasn't listed it. She even same message, said, okay, I'll do the $650, and he ignored it. So I think her $600 offer must have upset him. So for $50, I missed out on one of the two Holy Grail guitars. Greasy, what are you selling it for? Seriously, amount. What are you asking for it? Yeah, I've checked every day since then. It says no longer available, and the guy's not answering any emails. I was $50 away from one of my Holy Grail guitars. And that's what I said last week on Johnny's show. I was like, I may have a surprise or another guitar to show everybody, which would have been this past Wednesday. But like I said, it didn't happen. It fell through. Then I saw one today that I could get for actually less than that. And it's a Jackson Soloist Pro in purple. Greasy, in all honesty, because I've been looking, I've seen two for $650 Most are $700 to $750. There's a couple for $900, and then new ones for $14. So they're all over the place, actually. Let me put this one back. I'll grab something else. Yeah, they're all over the place. So I've had this for quite a while. It's been played a lot of places. My son-in-law has played this out, and he even knows, not to bang him up, not to hit him, whatever. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I get it. I know that's, some people are that way. And well, Johnny has said he looks at it as a tool, and it is. It is a tool. There's nothing wrong with thinking of it that way. But then I start laughing as I think, okay, well, then you need to see my toolboxes. Not only the one here that I'm on, kneeling on right now, but the two I have out in the garage. I got one, they call it Big Blue. It's a gigantic, I don't even know how many drawers it's got. Let's see. Probably 40 drawers or close to that. And everything looks like this, all organized. So that's why when he says, to me, it's a tool, and I laugh, I'm like, oh, you need to see my tools. So, but to each his own. Again, there's nothing right or wrong as far as how you take care of your guitars. I mean, as long as they play. He's always making the comments about as long as it sounds good, he doesn't care what it looks like, and I know a lot of people like that. There's nothing wrong with that either. And I'm not so much worried right away about how they sound, okay, or how they look. My first thing is how they feel. If the neck feels right, then that's good. If the neck feels right, then I have no problem taking it, because I can always make it sound like I want or paint it like I want. So it doesn't matter. My biggest thing is it's got to feel right. If it doesn't feel right, then I won't take it. This actually on the camera, this looks more, it's actually more orange yellow than what it's showing on the camera. Because I'm looking at it here, and then on the cell phone, it's like two different color yellows. But this is another one I did with the gold. I didn't do the titanium under the tuning buttons or the ring on the post because I can't find them in gold. They don't, I'm not saying they don't make it. I just can't find them. I need to go over this with the Fretzler too. This has two hot rails, obviously, and Seymour Duncan Nazgul, German Floyd. And you got the so there you go, Alex. Look, wouldn't it be nice to be able to do that? Never got it to. Properly set up Floyd Rose will do that every time, my friend. So yeah, it's just there's nothing wrong with that. It just I just don't. Again, As far as how it sounds and how it looks, I can change that to whatever I want. I can make it sound the way I want to. I can make it look however I want it. It's, to me, the biggest thing is the feel. It's got to feel right. If it doesn't feel right, then I don't want it. Mr. Mick, it took me a little bit to get used to that, because now I like this one. It's got this dark stripe here and kind of a little one here in the middle, and then the blue crackle's got a wild like stripes this way, so they're diagonal. But I do have, let's see, the Pro has an ebony fretboard. The Rainbow Crackle is a Pro, but it's got the maple fretboard. The Camouflage one's got a dark rosewood. And then I looked at ways. I haven't done it to any of the soloists, but I thought about darkening some of them. But, with the jumbo frets, I do need to go right with the frets. I didn't do it with this one. But yeah, this has been played for a long time, out live and in the studio. My son-in-law's used it. I've used it. My son doesn't use it. He loves his Schecters. But so it just, I take care of them. But that's why I laugh when Johnny says, "Oh, they're just tools to me," and I understand that. Like I said, I know people that around here that are think the same way. Then I just laugh. I'm thinking, okay, well, you haven't seen my tools then, because if you did, you would see that they're like this. Because I hate buying things twice and three times. I learned that a long time ago when I first started working, making real money. I would go if I needed some tools. Yes, it does, Mr. Mick. And I would, obviously I was buying the cheap tools. And then I end up breaking it and have to buy another one, and then another one, and another one. So I learned at a early age, you buy a quality tool, buy once, cry once. And my grandfather, he didn't come up with it, but he always reminded me, take care of your tools will take care of you. And I believe that too. And that's the same way with these guitars. Like I said, I can. Stays in tune. So a perfectly set up Floyd. And there's, I did a live one with Laz one day, helping him rebuild the one on his Randy Rhodes. You get rid of that stupid, well, I didn't even have one here with it on it now, but I do have the shim. Because I found out these are good for like shelf brackets. You bend them, but this shim that goes in between the tuning spring and the block, take this damn thing out and throw it away. You don't need that. So what happens, a lot of people don't realize this, that thickness right there, when you now tighten the base up to the block, the screws go in it that much more, which is inside the block, which gives you better resonance. Resonance. I can't now. I can't talk. Plus, that's nothing but a tone robber. And it was funny because I heard Adam from FU Tone say that, and I had been saying it for years. Then I heard him say it, and I'm like, "Oh, see, I was right." And then obviously upgrade with at least stainless, if not titanium. Get rid of that thing, and then you put the oil in the proper places. which is just this is what I use right here. Lucas Gun Oil Extreme. Right there. You cannot beat that stuff. This oil stays where you put it and lasts forever. So you take, and I'm talking just the very minimum goes in here. Each one of those goes here, little drop, here, little drop. I put the pushing ones in, so it doesn't matter if you have the locking ones. Put a drop inside and a drop on the threads. And that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. And when you put the screws in here, so if I take, let me get, here's an original one. So when I say a little bit, I'm talking just you hardly get any out. That's it. That little bit. And then you sit there, hit it around, and put that on before you put it into the saddles. What that is, it won't let this gall up in the block. It lubes the threads all the way in. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. So that won't freeze on you. It won't gall inside there if you crank on it, tighten it down. But you don't want any oil on the block, because then the string, you have to take it all apart, clean it with alcohol or something, get all that crap out of it. So if you have it set up right and proper and oiled and everything in the right places, and then it stays in tune like that. And even the floor. Let's see. Oh, wait, this one's a special. This is also from MPN. Donated some parts. Thank you, MPN. He donated the, and I had the bar, the Cosmo black bar. It's the EVH Floyd Rose Special. So sucks, but it's still heat treated or it wouldn't work at all. Now, is it heat treated as much as the German Floyd? I don't think so, but it's still heat treated. So as long as you keep that drop of oil on the post, goes right here, it'll last a long time. What fails on these more than anything is the saddles. So you can now buy saddles off of Amazon, stainless, that will outdo this. And a perfect example, the black and white with a little bit of blue Crackle Kelly I did for my son-in-law for almost 2.5 years, going on 3 years. I did that with a special, and then I ended up getting on my slime green Jackson. I ended up getting from FU Tone. I bought Graphtec saddles with the graphite top, which goes across right here where the string comes across, so they won't break. And so I had 6 original German saddles. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, bring it back down here. And I went ahead and put those, because it was black and the tremolo was black. So I put the German saddles on the special base, the Floyd special base here. And for almost going on 3 years now, he plays in a punk rock thrash band. And he uses that tremolo so much. He was telling me the other day, he stopped down. He goes, hey, he said, you wouldn't happen to have another tremolo arm, would you? He said, because something happened and I can't dive it as much as I did before. Well, first thing I'm thinking of is something inside the block. Something's wrong. He's like, it stays in tune. It still works perfect. I just can't dive. Well, he used it so much, he bent the freaking arm down. So Instead of being up here and having all this travel, he was like halfway already and only had that little bit. And he couldn't figure it out. So I put a new arm on. It was fine. But I started laughing. I thought, everybody says these special bases are junk. Here's a guy for almost 3 years been using the special base enough to bend a freaking arm on the tremolo. And I've never done that. In 40 years, I've never bent the tremolo arm. That's how bad he uses that thing. And that Floyd Rose special bass still stays in tune, still working. So when you hear, oh, they're crap, yeah, the thing that's crap is the saddles. The bass will still work. So you can replace the saddles cheap. And you'll have yourself a decent tremolo. That's a tip for you. And Mr. Mick, dye. Right here is probably one of the best things you can use. Higgins India ink. I have used, let's see, well, since I put this in here, I've moved stuff and I can't remember where it's at yet. I'm trying to get used to where I left everything. Okay. This I have used gel stain in ebony because gel stain, you wipe it on and it's real thick and you just let it sit overnight and then wipe it off. And I've used like these. Right here, gel stain. Kona. And then what's this one? Dark walnut. So I've done it quite a bit and used quite a bit of the stuff doing it. So it can be done. And most times, not every time, it's not 100%. So if someone tells you it's 100%, they're lying to you. But most times, you can wipe it off the markers and they'll be fine. But it depends on what you're using and how long you let it sit. So the best thing to do is do it and then take an alcohol pad. Those hit the floor for some reason. And then, or get the Q-tips, dip them in rubbing alcohol, and then kind of just like wipe if you got the little dots, it's easy. Just, get it off before you let all that stuff dry. But it will work. And it's weird because depending on the wood, I'll give you a hint. Before you do it, though, take a razor blade. Don't use, F1 oil or where's the other stuff? Or this fretboard cleaner. Don't use any of this. Take rubbing alcohol first on a rag, microfiber rag. Wipe the entire board off good with rubbing alcohol. It'll dry within a couple minutes completely. Then take a flat razor blade and scrape. Both hands, hold the blade, both hands, so you don't hit the frets and go over the frets. Just scrape it all off, brush it off, then dye it. That helps it stick. So let me put this back. I'll grab something else. Here's one with a dark rosewood. Guess I need to clean this up a little bit anyhow. Yeah, even this, that doesn't, the color I'm looking at on the screen is not the color here. It's lighter, and here it's dark. It's real. Excuse me. And then when you clean, if you clean your guitar and wax it, right there is best stuff. Forget about Gibson polish and Fender polish and all that crap. Use that right there. Stuff does wonders. Oh, you're welcome, Mr. Mick. Like I said, I'll help anybody any way I can. You know, and again, I'm not saying I'm the one that knows it all either. I'm just telling you what works for me. Because, you know, there's, what's the old saying? There's more than one way to skin a cat. This one I got from Dane. And where was it? Right here. Right here. The clear coat. There was a big chunk of the clear coat missing. And if you look now, you don't see it missing. And how I fixed that was with this. I taped it off, put the glue boost on. Don't do it real thick. Do several layers, get it built up, then scratch it off, then sand it down and buff it out. And you never know there was a chip there. Here's another one. I did the Floyd, the logo in orange. So I said, performance-wise, it doesn't do a damn thing, but in my mind, it's you know, made it mine. They don't sell an orange upgrade kit. Wish they did, or I'd have it on there. I did put the orange knob there, and I tried to find orange ones for here, but I couldn't find anything that looked really any good. This has a Pegasus and a Sentient in the neck. Yeah, there's just, I mean, I worked under a luthier for just about 2 years. And I learned even working on acoustics and all that, but I don't do that many acoustics. Never did. I mean, I learned how to do it. I have done neck resets in acoustics, which isn't fun. And I had to replace braces. I had to pull the top off before of a couple. There's just acoustics. And what happens now is if you go to, you know, a store or someone who would charge you for that, as far as acoustic goes, unless it's like an old real value, a Washburn acoustic or, you know, what, something like that, it'd be cheaper just to buy another one. So what's happening is a lot of the luthiers who specialize in acoustics, guys come in with a 1930 Martin that needs something, you know, they're doing something, you know, something that's not cheap, worth having it done. So working, you know, like I said, I love working on guitars. I love figuring out. That's like that thing with CC coming up with that switch and three-way switch for just one pickup, and it's not even going to be a split coil. That's kind of like that. I had to think about that for a minute. That's kind of a good thing. I need to do the Fressler on this too. Yep. Now here's the thing on these. You hear people say that these crackles, oh, they're made in China, they're junk. Okay. It says on the back, made in China. The guitar is not made in China. The guitar is in Indonesia, like at the Quart factory and all the other factories but I don't understand this. It doesn't make sense to me. But they build the entire guitar, then it ships to China for the paint. Apparently, China's got less regulations on the painting side of it. So they're the last ones to touch it. They paint it, dry it, and then put the pickup stuff in it. So it says made in China. If you know anything about the laws like that, the last person to touch it, that's the last country to touch it, is where it says it's made, even though the actual guitar was actually cut out and made in Indonesia. So all the crackle finishes say made in China on them, but they're not. They're just painted in China and assembled. Rich, Bay Area Rich knows about that. When he was working, he had to deal with that kind of stuff too. So, yeah, Sentient and Pegasus sounds great. I just wish they'd come out with an orange stainless kit. I mean, they got every other color. They got purple, pink, rainbow, blue, different shades of blue, red, green, gold, but no orange. I would love to find 2 orange knobs, orange hardware. I mean, again, other than the fact that it would be stainless to help it that way, that would be the only advantage of it. But again, we're getting back into how I like things to look. So, and there's nothing wrong with it either way. If you either like them. I've bought crap because people didn't take care of them, and I got them really cheap. And as long as the scratches are in the clear coat, 9 times out of 10, I can get them to all buff out completely, or to where you really can't notice it. I mean, you'd have to really look and know where to look to find it if it didn't come out all the way. And that's what I loved about Floyd Roses. So many people are scared to death to mess with the Floyd Rose. And they are intimidating. So if you look, let's see, best way to do that is just to show you. Okay. This works from string tension to spring tension on the back. And this thing just balances on a knife edge right there. That little spot. And it rides in this center V like that. That thing pivots right there. Okay, so if you have this set up right, when you have it sitting down like this, they're a little sharp. When you flip it over the other way, it goes flat because the tremolo will come just enough to make it move. So this thing pivots right there. It's only on a knife edge. So that's how this operates. But you put a little oil in there to keep it. Because it's not impossible to adjust this under tension. But I would not do it dry. Take it again, just a little drop. Get a little drop out there ready to go. Come on. Get it in. That's it. And then when you turn it around, don't crank it real hard, real fast. Go slow and let the oil get in there. And you can adjust it that way. Is it ideal? No. Will it ruin it eventually? Yes. But there's people that say, oh, you can never do it. Yes, you can. You just can't be an idiot when you're doing it. So with that sitting on that knife edge, it has to be balanced perfect. If you, again, that's a blade edge. So it's designed to be completely level with the body. So if you have it up like that, which some people will set it that way, that in turn will eat that knife edge up quicker, because now it's got a constant downward pressure, because you got this point up and the springs and the bob. So it's not the knife edge flat. It's on a little bit of a bend. So now it's pushing down on that knife edge. That'll wear it out quicker. You just gotta, but I've had people who've bought a guitar with a Floyd on it, and they were told, no, don't ever try to touch it. Take it into the shop, have it done. Well, then they'll try. I bought a Jackson Kelly, Alex, like yours, a red one, and the guy come up. It was on Marketplace, and he was like in the next town up, and he's like, make an offer. So since he was only 10 minutes away from me, I said, well, meet me at the Kroger parking lot and let me see it. And the tremolo literally was like this. And that's how he was playing it. He had no idea how to adjust it. He couldn't figure it out. He either had it that way. He said, if I mess with it, it ended up being buried backwards. He said, I can't do it. He said, this thing sucks. I hate Floyd Roses. I never want this guitar. And I started laughing. I said, well, that's all fixable. He's like, screw it. Like, he didn't say screw it, but he chose another colorful metaphor to use. But I said, okay, what do you want for it? And he goes, 200. I said, 200 like that? And I actually said like that. He goes, fine, 100. I'm like, what? I didn't mean it like, I can't believe you want. I was shocked he said 200, because it was a $700 guitar. I said, I'll give you 200. He goes, no, 100. So I bought this $700 guitar with the tremolo not set up for $100. Brought it home, took the tremolo off, tore it apart, set it up, and I ended up having it for about 3 months, and I ended up giving that one away, as a matter of fact. That went to a kid in Pittsburgh. So I've lucked out and got guitars off of guys who had Floyds, had no idea what they were doing. And then they just get mad because no matter what, they can't fix it, because they don't know how. Okay, Mr. Mick, do I like Seymour Duncan distortions? Pretty much. I like Seymour Duncan in general. Matter of fact, well, you can't see it. I can't show. Right here, I have an autographed picture of MJ. She's like my pinup girl. She's not in no bikini. She's actually holding a pair of calipers and a pickup in her hand. I love Seymour Duncan pickups in general. And I have different, even though I have a bunch of guitars that are same, a bunch of soloists, the pickup configurations are different. So I have I have Screaming Demons, Pegasus, Nazgul, Black Winters, Custom 5s, SH6s, Jazz. I got pretty much a bunch of them. I love Seymour Duncan in general. Matter of fact, the newest ones I just bought were the Blackouts, the active. I just put them in the camouflage soloist. I put them in there yesterday, matter of fact. Which I'll be showing on tomorrow night's Johnny Bean show. So yeah, this thing right here, this shim, as you can see, they're out of here. This shim usually sits right in between. It's on top of that and underneath that block. And what it's for, it's actually considered a spring stiffener for your tuning spring, okay? Only because it just sticks out past there a little bit. But it doesn't do as much as they say it will do. And that's just an extra layer of something to take away tone from the whole instrument. So when you eliminate this, and I do mean eliminate, take out, throw it away, put it back in, the screws, the 3 screws that hold the block in go in now, they go in farther, which gives you a tighter feel and more contact space. Threaded in, pulled tight, so you get better response from it. Your fluttering gets better. This thing is should never have been there. You can use them for a bunch of other stuff. So that's a tip there for Floyd. Yeah, in my area here, I'm known as the Floyd guy, which I don't mind. That's better than being the ass guy. Janice, we missed you. Did you bring your pencil? I'll give you something to write on. Speaking of Janice, she has an issue with one of her guitars. Well, a couple of them. One is neck heavy, and one pickup went down in the body. And yes, she's on the East Coast, but I can walk her through a repair. So we'll do that one night, Janice, on a Saturday night on Johnny's show, if that's okay with you. Yeah, well, like I said, I always put at least the stainless blocks in or the titanium. But when it comes to factory blocks, the German Floyd ones, those are all German. These ones are from the special. So yeah, I can afford to lose a few. So let's see, where's that red? Oh, here's the, now I have Rich's Fender Strat, and I'm going to paint, probably do it tomorrow or Sunday. I'm going to paint the body completely white on it. It's actually a tobacco burst Fender Strat. It's a real Fender. And I'm going to paint the whole thing white. I got it all sanded down, ready to go. I'm going to paint the whole thing white, and then I cut out 1-inch dots out of a real good stencil material, so like there's no bleed through. I use this stuff. So I cut out a bunch of 1-inch circles, solid circle, solid dots. And he wants it like the one that's in the Hall of Fame. And it's weird because what I'm doing is making that a Buddy Guy Strat for him. So it's red with white polka dots, but like if you look at my Sandoval, all the dots are perfectly in line, well, this way and this way. Well, the Buddy Guy one at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they're not. They're like on there random. They're not. Some are in line. Some, it's kind of weird how it looks. And that's what he wants. He has a black one with white dots that's all in line, but he wanted me to copy that red one. So I'm going to paint it white, put the dots on, and I took a bunch of pictures from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame of that guitar. So I'll put them in very close to how they are on there. And then once the dots are on, you'll see that blue, that they're in blue. So but here's a trick. Here's a trick for you if anybody does any painting. Once you have the dots on it, so it's white. So when I peel a dot off, it's a white dot. So you paint it white, put the dots on, or any stencil for that matter. It doesn't matter if you don't want to bleed through. In my case, it would be dots on them where I want them. Then I put another thin coat of white over top the stencil, the blue stencils. That helps seal the edges. Then I will paint the red over top everything. Then after a couple of days, the red dries. I peel the dots off. There's no red bleed through on the white. And then I clear it, a few coats of clear and level so you don't feel the dots. And then Rich is going to have his red Buddy Guy polka dot strap to go with the black one, the black and white one. But anytime you do a stencil, excuse me, I got the hiccups. Anytime you do a stencil like that where you're going to be painting over and you don't want bleed through, whatever color you have as a base that you're covering with the stencil, spray a light coat of that color over top the stencil, whatever it is. That'll help seal in the edges so you don't get that bleed through. So see, I'm giving all my trade secrets out. That's what I said. I'm here to help people. And I told Johnny that too. I'm not here to make money and I'm here to help people. I love doing that. And the whole thing with starting, keeping people in a guitar or fixing guitar for them was because when I started the band years and years ago, well, we're talking 42 years ago. 41, 42 years ago. Obviously when you're young and starting out, you don't have all the money that you need to get everything you need. Not till you start playing. If you're lucky, playing pretty good and making money, then you invest it back into that way. So I had a couple people who ended up helping us and helping me. The whole deal with me wrapping my strings like this. Every one of my Floyd Roses, the strings are like this. Not because Steve Vai does it. I didn't know he did that till way I did this, from 1985 on. I did it because we were playing 3 or 4 nights a week and then practicing and, didn't have enough money all the time to buy all the strings you need. So I would do it that way. That way, if a string broke, I just unwind it and use it again. Or I'd take them off and boil them and put them back on and cut an inch or so off and put it back in again. And then I could go clear down to the end of the ball. So I could get, 3 or 4 cuts off of a string before I had to actually replace it. So I did it out of necessity. And I've always done it that way. And, I have people say, what the hell you do that for? It's stupid. Well, Steve Vai does it. Are you a better player than Steve Vai? That's what I tell him now. So you do it because Steve does? No, I did it before I even knew he did. I didn't know he did that till the 90s. And I don't know I never did hear why he does that. MPN, do you know? I mean, I actually don't know the reason behind it. I just did it out of necessity. And I even boiled the strings. And believe it or not, you don't have to worry. Well, the E, B, and G, you can boil them if you want to. It does, that. Especially, I know a lot of guys that do it too when they're new because it eliminates the stretching of the string. Or pretty A and E, boiling them, it cleans them out, gets all your DNA and gunk out from in between the windings. And you can use them again. They're like new, and they sound a little brighter. So that was all just as necessity. I did it because I couldn't afford to put strings on a bunch of guitars every week. So I just had to do it come up with something that made it work for me. And that's just, I've always done it since then. So, yeah. You get, if you guys have never boiled your strings before, try it just one time. Just get some boiling water, and once it's boiling, throw the strings in there and leave them in there for about a minute. Take them out, put them on a paper towel, dry, and then put them back on, and it has a little bright, more sounding to it, and they're good again. All the dirts and grimes off the windings. It pertains mostly to the EA and the D because of the winding. Some people have the G as a wound string. I know George Lynch likes a wound G. So it benefits those more than it does these three. All it would do to these, if they still stretch, it'll eliminate most of the stretch out of them, so you can tune them and they'll stay in tune better. Yeah, the bleed through sucks. Multivator, multi-revelator. I'm just gonna call you multi. That's cool, Mr. Mick. I'll take anything because like I said, I don't know what I need. But again, let me finish that. The guy helped me and other guys in the band. There was one particular gentleman who stepped up and he loved our music and he had money. So when we needed stuff, none of us ever said, "Hey, can you get this for us?" None, to my knowledge. I know I never did, and I know, Jeff and Mike never did. So out of 5 of us, I know 3 that never actually just come out and said, "Hey, can we get this? Can you get this for us?" But what he did, he would end up coming to the practices, and we would just do what we did with what we had, and he'd be like, "Yeah." And next practice, he'd show up with something. "You guys needed this." Well, then I remember the first time he bought, I don't know how many packs of strings. He came in, it was a big box of strings. There must have been 100 packs of guitar strings and bass strings. And he's like, "Here you guys go. Stop boiling them. You don't need to do that. Here." So he did. And finally, one day I said, "Dude, what do we owe you for this?" And his comment was, "You don't owe me anything. Just one day, if you can, when you can, keep the music going, man. Pay it forward." And that's why I do what I do. That's why I repair guitars and give guitars to people who need them. I'm doing what he asked me to do. I do have, well, I can't show it because it's on there. But be good, Janice. I have a few years ago, a friend of mine who ended up playing guitar with us and has his own studio now. He has a music school and a studio in Washington, Pennsylvania. And he put a thing on Facebook. He was looking for a cheap clarinet. And my daughter and we had one here. And so I wrote him right back instantly. I'm like, "Hey," I said, "you need a clarinet?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well," he's like, I said, "You take, you play?" He goes, "No." And it was a girl who used to hang out with the bands. This was, when he asked for a clarinet, it was probably 2017 or 2018. So yeah, it was a few years ago. But he's like, "You remember so-and-so, and she used to hang out with the bands in the 80s. I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Well, she got married. She got 2 kids. And sure, Mr. Mick, that's fine. Because when I give them to people, if I have a bag or, anything, a bag, a case, whatever to put in it to help them, that's fine. I do that too." He's like, well, her husband died unexpectedly. He died in a work accident. And there was, the company was fighting the accident, saying it was his fault, not their fault. So um, it was right before Christmas. It was sometime in November. And so she didn't have any money. There was no insurance money because the company was fighting the accident. And he's like, but her daughter just started taking piano lessons at Jim's school, and she wanted to switch to clarinet, but she couldn't afford a clarinet. So I told my daughter, she's like, Dad, give it to him. So I met him and gave him the clarinet, and then he sent me a picture of that little girl on Christmas morning holding that clarinet with a smile that freaking big. And it's funny because the clarinet, she's holding it like she's playing it, and it's almost touching the floor. And because it was basically a brand new clarinet. My daughter had it, and she never used it, so I sent it out and had it cleaned because I don't do wood instruments like woodwind instruments. So I had it all cleaned and got the new reeds and stuff for it, put it all in the box and took it and gave it to him. And he just gave it because they were looking for something for $100 or a couple $100 most. Just take it, and it was a fairly expensive clarinet, but what made it worth it was that picture of that little girl Christmas morning. She had a smile like you wouldn't believe, and to this day she's still playing. She plays clarinet now for the school band, and she's still using that clarinet. And when I give guitars to some of these kids and stuff, the look on their faces is just like they're shocked. That, to me, that makes all the time I spent here at this bench doing it, that makes it worth it. And and when you guys donate the parts, so I got the parts donated. I donate my time, even the guitars. Some people donate guitars. There's no cost. I don't charge for none of that. The only thing I charge is when I do custom paint work for people, and that's not to give a guitar away. That's that's custom paint work. So this is just it's a labor of love, and I gave my word. Let's see, that was probably 1986. 1986 that I asked that guy he told me just to pay it forward, and I've been doing it ever since. That's why I said I believe in karma, and that's why I told Johnny I'm not like those other guys that was on his show. He keeps telling me, yeah, well, one day you'll turn on me like they did, and I'm like, you don't know me very well, apparently. I don't do that. I don't want it done to me. I don't do it to anybody. So, yeah, Peggy, I sent you that picture, didn't I? Of her smiling and standing in front of the Christmas tree. I know there's a light here. Yeah, okay. It was funny because she was barely taller than the clarinet was long. So yeah, and Jim's one of the guys that I hear from every now and then saying, "Hey, can you fix this, or do you have this?" And he's always willing to pay me for it. I'm like, no. Unfortunately, most of the stuff that Greasy gave me the first time is gone by now. Then Tease Guitars is donating. I got that Telecaster, and then Torsen is also donating. Well, he's donating. He donated. I have a Telecaster and a Strat from Torsen now. He's donating another guitar. So those 3 guitars are to be given away once I repair them. And then he's also sending a 4th guitar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hot rod it a little bit and then do a custom hollow flash thing on it. And then he's going to put it on the Tease website for sale. So it's going to be like a one-off custom guitar or custom finished guitar, not custom guitar. And he also sent a bunch of Strat pick guards already loaded, ready to go. Just bolt them on and hook up the input jack, and you're ready to go. So, I got parts. I was running low there for a long time because I like had it, and was I was down to just a few things. Matter of fact, a couple of things I stripped off some of my guitars and put on some of these other ones. But yeah, and it's the great people like you that donate stuff to me that keeps me able to do this for everybody. And it's I love doing that. Like I said, 7 operations on between these two hands, and I can't play like I did 40, even 30 years ago. I'm no longer able to do super fast solos. I know how to do them. I know what to do. I just can't, the hands won't do it now. But I can still do this. I can still build these and fix these. So I'll do that till I can't do it no more. And I'm telling you, you don't, once you do that, and the smile you'll see from those kids just makes it all worth everything. So I want to thank everybody that's ever donated anything. Thank you. Because you're not just helping me, you're helping future generations of musicians, and who knows, one of them may be the next Eddie Van Halen, the next Randy Rhoads. Who knows? We don't know. Thank each and every one of you for that. That you guys, like Ronnie Dio said, you're all the biggest stars in the world. And I want to really thank you for that. Because I had people say, "Oh, we're giving you the parts for your guitars." No, these parts go on these guitars to get fixed or given away. You can tell I'm Italian. I've had my daughter grab my hands before, and I just stopped. I couldn't talk. If I can raise that up just a little bit, maybe. So yeah, it's Friday. My Friday Faith and Failure. 3 F's. Friday Faith and Failure. So yeah, everybody. I mean, I've had Laz donate parts now, MPN, Greasy Monkey, Michael B, Rich. I mean, it's amazing, and I thank you guys so much for that. That just it helps and just keeps everything going. Like I said, you're not just helping me, you're helping keep the gift of music, because that's one thing that they can't take from you. You learn how to play an instrument, that's with you for the rest of your life, no matter what. And you can't even say, I've had people, "Oh yeah, well, what happens if you lose your hand or your arm or whatever?" And I say, "Well, look at Jason Becker. He can't do anything but blink, but he's still writing music because he knows what to do and how to do it." So everybody, thank you. You guys have all keep this going and going, and it's I can't explain it. I mean, Peggy has seen the picture, so. Alex, have you heard? If you're still here, Alex, have you heard anything from Gargut yet? I've had people ask me why I wear these gloves when I work on guitars. Well, painting wise, obviously that's, you don't want to get the paint stuff all over you. But when I do this kind of stuff, like, why you do that? Well, because I do a lot of work with my hands, and I've had 7 operations, I have scars here, 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 and somewhere over here, and plus.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Computer, stop. Somehow.
Something went wrong.
Oh, okay, whatever. So I don't like the looks of my fingers. So when I would do this, where I'm going to be on camera, I put the gloves on. I don't have girly fingers and fingernails. So can you guys still hear me? Yeah, MP. You know what? I do have one for painting. Right here. So yeah, Greasy, it sucks, don't it? I never thought my age would start with a 6. Hell, I was upset when I turned 30, and that was 30 years ago. So it's just been getting worse every 10 years. Now I realize I'm closer to my 80s than I am when I was in the 80s. Now that's scary. Yeah, yeah. So plus, I mean, I was, not only the body work, but I also I was start out as a welder fitter. Then I did die repair and die maintenance, die maker. Now I do a bunch of woodworking and everything. So my fingers are always getting cut, smashed, whatever. And I don't want to gross Johnny out. So when I do stuff like this, I just put the gloves on. Painting and stuff, that's one thing. You got to wear them. But when stuff, I don't have to wear them for this, but I do. So there you go. Now I ended up being a millwright. I did all kind of stuff. I got all kind of certified, and I'm certified in welding. Well, I don't think they're any good anymore, but I was pretty much everything except for NASA. And the company I worked for wouldn't pay for me to do that because they're like, oh, you do that, you pass that, then you'll go to NASA. Yeah. So they wouldn't pay for the class and the testing for that. So, yeah, I've done all that stuff. I mean, I've always worked with my hands all my life, and it shows. Grinding, yep. The first time I ran a 20-ton horizontal CNC mill, I'm talking horizontal, not the vertical. And I put the program in, and I clicked it down to like a quarter speed, and I hit it to hit the start button. And even though it was right, it just caught me off guard because it went in horizontally, and I grabbed the end of the ram trying to hold it back, but that didn't work. So, yep. I tell you what, we had grinders. That was their category, and I got a lot of respect for those guys. We had one guy when I first moved to Springfield, because I worked at International Harvester here. Then the plant shut down, and the assembly plants in Springfield. I didn't have enough seniority to stay on the seniority list because the union up there decided to every 6 months, after so many, if you didn't have so many years, they cut so many people off. So I was on it for a while, then I got cut off, but I had to go up there and I got hired in, but they hired me in as a boss. But the one guy we had down here, Dominic, the hell was his last name? It was Elantre, Dominic. A lot of people thought he was slow, but the guy was a freaking genius. He would be sitting there and you show him what to do, and then you never had to show him again, and it was perfect. And he took the grinding job. Well, he came in testing for a welder, and it was just MIG welding. And so the boss, I was the lead man then. So the boss come to get me, goes, hey, we got to issue a weld test. This guy, a possible new hire. So I go with him, and I welded up all the coupons and made the test, which had vertical down, vertical up, overhead, all this stuff. And so we take it over, and I set it all up, and I took the welder, and I just turned the feed up. Didn't mess with the heat, just the wire speed. Because you want them to hit it and mess up, but you want to see that they can correct it too. So this guy comes in. He's wearing a suit. And I'm like, I'll get you a welding jacket to put over that, because I don't think no. This is how I'll do it this way. It's okay. So we're standing there, and I give him the hood. He flips the hood down, and he just stand there for like 10 seconds. He's like looking left and right. Flips the hood up, looks at the MIG gun, flips the hood back down. Then he's holding the MIG gun like this in front of him, like he's trying to see it. Now, it wasn't a speed glass. It was in the old style helmet when he was like a 12 shade. So he did this like 3 times, and finally the boss name was Jim. Jim's like, what's wrong? He goes, well, Mr. Ferguson, when I flip this hood down, I can't see anything. And Jim looked at me and goes, he's all yours, and walked away. And I explained to Dominic, I said, that's a welding hood. I said, it's not a speed glass. I said, a speed glass, if you get here hired as a welder, you can buy one through the company, and then they take it out of 6 months' pay. For the one pay every month for 6 months that you can buy it that way. I said, and that would be, it looks like sunglasses until you strike the arc, then it gets dark. This is the old style. You can't see through it. He's like, oh, okay. So I get him over to the bench, and I said, yeah, okay, hold the gun. He said he's holding the gun in his hand, the welding gun. I get him in position. I said, okay, when you're ready, pull the trigger and start welding that. Oh my God. He pulled the trigger. The wire is shooting out. He's still trying to weld. He's going about 18-inch piece. There was, he flips the helmet up, looks at that and goes, did I pass? I said, no, Dominic, sorry, you did not. I said, but we will keep your resume. And he left. About 2 weeks go by, and I see him come in and punch a time card. I went and looked at Jim. I said, are you nuts? He's like, no. He said, we brought him back in for a grinding test, and he did perfect. The dude could grind like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it was like glass. And he would be sitting there, and then all of a sudden he would stop. look up in the sky, and he'd be like talking to himself without saying anything. And he'd start like moving his head and his song, and he'd get back to grinding. So one day he did this for about 2 months. And finally I went up to him. I said, Dominic, man, I said, are you having issues or something? He's like, no, I'm just writing a symphony. The guy was a freaking genius. He was writing a piece of music with 5 or 6 different instruments in his head, then writing it down during his breaks. And he stayed a grinder for almost 20 years. We had a job come with a bunch of aluminum. He had to grind. Oh my God, he looked like the Tin Man. But he didn't care. He stayed right there. I mean, he got hired as a grinder. He knew how to do it, and he stayed right there and did it. Yeah, grinding wheels explode, the discs fly off, the handheld grinders. Oh yeah, there's all kind of stuff. It's dangerous. And that's why my fingers and hands are like they are, because, years and years and years of doing that messed them up. And that's, the whole deal with Jason Becker. That's why I don't get too upset, because, at least I can still physically play where he can't. But yet, after all he's been through and going through, still can sit there and write music. So I got to respect that. There's no, you can't not respect that. But anyhow, that's why that long story that got longer is why I wear gloves when I do this kind of stuff, just so it doesn't gross Johnny out. Because I even sent MPN some pictures of the scars on my hands the other day, and I told Johnny's like, ooh, gross. So. Yeah, Dominic was one of a kind, and he was. I don't want to say he was, for lack of a better word, he was a little slow. But I'm not saying that to be mean or make fun of him. It's just how he was. But once he learned it, he wanted to be the best there was, and by God, symphonies and orchestras in his freaking head. Then at lunchtime and his break time, he had a notepad. He'd go over and he was writing out the music. It was full of a sheet, the plain music sheets. He'd go over and be putting in all the notes, everything, and write down what instrument. And I was like, wow. And I heard him play piano one time, and it was like listening to, I don't even know, Liberace. And the guy never took a piano lesson. He learned everything by just reading and watching. So he read, learned how to play a piano book and what the notes were. He learned just from reading it and doing it. He never had a professional lesson. He was one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. Dominic is either Alante or Elantra. Dominic Alante from Springfield, Ohio. Great guy. When I left there to go to back to the new Navistar as a boss, he come up to me and was crying. He's like, Mr. Ron, I hate to see you go. I'm like, Dominic, believe me, you've left the spot with me for the rest of my life, my friend. And he gave me a hug and wiped my tears and walked away. He was a great guy. If Mike, you might be right, Michael. But if it was a very mild case. I don't know. My wife's the medical stuff, not me. he was just, I mean, he was amazing. Never turned down overtime, never complained. There was a couple guys that started picking on him one time, and I got to them right after it happened. Yeah, Dominic Alante. That's it. Dominic Alante. Great guy. He couldn't weld, but he didn't care. He found his calling. That's what he said. I got my calling now, and I made sure that guy had to. Anytime we had to order new grinders, I always gave him a new one. There you go, Dominic. Here's a new one for you. And he's like, I don't need. I snap. You deserve a new one every time we get them. There were some times where he got new ones 3 times a month. You couldn't help but, I mean, Peggy, you couldn't help but do that. He was such a nice guy. It was unbelievable. Yeah, the couple guys that picked on was when he first started. After he was there for about 6 months, that never happened again. But he was in his 20s then, so he'd be in his 50s now. That was 1995. But he played the piano one time at a Christmas party, and it was like, damn, it was like listening to the music of angels. He played some of the prettiest stuff I've ever heard. Well, anything else anybody want to talk about? Any questions or concerns or dislikes or likes? But again, anybody that wants to donate, thank you. Thank you for helping me keep this going and helping the future of music, keeping music alive, especially now with AI. I don't care that much for AI. James Cameron even made the comment. He said, I tried to warn you all in 1984. You know, it's crazy. And it's going to get to the point where you're going to be able to see, you know, before it was like, well, show me a photo or show me a video, then I'll believe it. Well, now it's getting to the point where you can't even believe that. Now you got music from bands that don't exist. So keep the music alive with letting real music from real people. And your old guitars and old parts, will keep that going. So thank you very much. Because like I said, I love doing it. I'm retired. I got nothing else to do. I sit here. I mean, literally, I wake up. My wife, I built my wife an office out of one of the extra bedrooms. So she works from home. And she works from 6 o'clock in the morning till 2:30. And I'm down here. I'm down here all day, either working on my stuff or I built these shelves now for this. I'm going to put shelves on that wall. And then behind me, I still have some reloading equipment from when I did all my shooting. I used to shoot with Glock and did a bunch of reloading and taught. I'm still an instructor. firearms instructor, so I can still do that. But I used to teach reloading classes. I had Dylan Reloading as a sponsor. I don't do any of that anymore. And I have like a bench about this size, the same size as this bench behind me. It's built into the wall. It's not a metal box like this. It's a workbench, but it's full reloading stuff. So I need to take that stuff out of there. Then I can move like this drill press and the disc sander and all that stuff. Give me more room in here because I definitely need it. I do need more room in here. Well, Peggy, that's like I said, my dad was never neat with his tools. And when I was a little kid, obviously wanting to hang out with my dad, and I would go in, he's like, well, go, I need this. Of course, that was the late 60s, early 70s, so it wasn't a bunch of metric stuff yet. So he's like, go find me the 3/8 socket or whatever, and I have to dig through a toolbox for half hour to try to find it for something he needed it for 2 seconds or 10 seconds. And I learned a long time then, no. You keep them organized, you keep them clean, keep them straight, and then you don't have to waste so much time looking for stuff. That's why I have everything, like you can see some of this now. That's why I have everything like this. So not only is it laid out, but if it's missing, I know what's missing and where it goes. Everything's right here, and there's 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 drawers, nine drawers total in this, and they're all. You can't see them all. They're all like that. And this side just makes it so much easier. You know what you need. You know where it's at. I'm still learning where I put stuff in here, though. I'll open the wrong drawer a few times thinking, not wrong drawer. But, Michael B., I'm sorry. You asked a question about painting. No, I'm not done. I can go. I put a heater in the garage. I put one of those big electric heaters in the garage. And I insulated the ceiling of the garage with 1-inch thick styrofoam that has the chrome on the bottom of it. So I can actually go into, I'm going to say November painting. The only thing I have to do is I have to get the hardener. There's the quick hardener, medium, and slow. So you just have to go with the temperatures. If you get the hardener that works, like 60 degrees, you don't want to use one that works for 85 degrees and try it in 60-degree weather. That just don't work. So why you still want the Night Swan painted? I got you guys are like, I was going to wait till tomorrow to say this, but I had my daughter pick me up again some strings today. Wait a minute. I had her get me some strings today, and then I had to go up to her house to pick them up. And while I was there, her husband, my son-in-law, come out and asked me, he goes, hey, what would you charge route out for a Floyd Rose and then, route the neck to put a locking nut on it? I'm like, well, it depends on what it is. He's like, oh, and a paint job. And I'm like, well, again, depends what it is. So then the other guitar player in his band, who I've worked on his guitar many times, one of his guitars, but never actually met him. Because my son-in-law would just bring the guitars for the band and the bass for the band. He'll just bring all the instruments here, and I do it for him. And this guy comes out and goes, well, he goes, I bought a Fender Squier Jaguar or Mustang. He wants me to paint it road cone orange and route it out for a Floyd and a nut for a Floyd on, I think it's a Jaguar. So I gave him a price for everything. I said, you supply the Floyd and the nut, but I'll do the paint and all the work. And I gave him a price, and he said, okay, sounds good. You use it too much. I tell you what, that I love, and it was, and I'm not going to take credit for it. It was just by luck from me looking at photos when I put that neck pickup in it for you, because I didn't have the neck. So, and that, for those of you who don't know, a Night Swan has two humbuckers, one here and one here, and there's no neck pickup in a Night Swan. Well, Michael B had sent me his, and I put a neck pickup in it, but he didn't send me the neck. And I didn't even, at first, I didn't think about it, because it didn't cross my mind. I laid it out, routed it out and everything. Then I sent him pictures, and I think was it Mike? Was it you that like, oh man, that's like, I hope the neck fits on that, because the heel of the neck was here, and then it had an overhang of the fretboard with nothing under it. And I didn't have the neck. I didn't think about the neck having an overhang and maybe not hitting. I was just thinking, oh, there's no neck here. So I kept looking at photos of Night Swans online, and I kind of placed the pickup where I thought it would go. Then we found out that, oh, there's an overhang on it, and I was, uh-oh. So it was funny when I sent it back to him. Michael made a video of him putting the neck on it, and it's like right there. But and I think it's because as close as it is, because it's closer than regular neck pickups are. Like, it's closer than this. It has such a unique sound to it. And it's like one of the best sounding Night Swans I've ever heard. I did on the Fretworks channel. There's a video where I did a collage of photos of it. If you're interested, anybody that's ever interested in seeing it. But again, I just had the body. I cleaned the pots out, and then routed out and put the pickups in. Then I had to add a switch, and then that was a hard one to come up with wiring for, to figure. I actually had to wire that like two separate guitars, and then I sent a diagram back with the body showing neck positions. Like, because there were two three-way switches, so you had one switch up, then you had three options. Then you had it in the middle, you had three options. Then you had the bottom, and you had three options. Then you had this one at the top and three more options. Middle, three more options. Bottom, three more options. So I printed out a chart showing what each switch in the configuration, which ones it would set up. And I sent that with the body. I'm glad I did. So yeah, if you need something, anybody wants something painted, get a hold of me. Oh, Peggy, you don't know how many sketches I went through sitting at the table trying to figure out that wiring. Because we have all three on, or any one of the three on, or half of one and this one and half of one and half of one and half of this one. It's like the combination's pretty much endless. But I'm sure by now, Michael, you probably got some settings that you like the best. At least I'm hoping. Well, it worked. That's the main thing. You were nervous. I was nervous putting the whole thing together. So between you and CC, you guys are challenging me. Which I love, and that's why I think you guys are the greatest, because I don't ever want to sit there and say and fall into a rut and say, well, this is how this should be, and this is how this should be, and everything be the same. I like being challenged. I may not always be able to figure it out, but I like trying to figure it out, and when I do, that's a plus. So thank you guys for that. And I also want to thank you for this chat experiment. Like I said, I just, hadn't been on since Wednesday night, and it's like, and being on 5 days out of 7 every week, I was like, well, this sucks. So let me see if I can get this to work. So as an experiment, I did it. And thank you guys so much for coming over and hanging out with me. I mean, I don't know. Hope I'm entertaining. Yeah, you're right, Peggy. You are absolutely right. I don't like to let stuff beat me. It's got to be figured out. So, anything else anybody want to ask or find out about or talk about? Thank you. Good night, Michael B. Don't forget to check your mailbox tomorrow, your P.O. box. Any more questions about guitars? If I know it, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll tell you I don't. But we'll figure it out together. That's like that when I put the blackouts. What is the blackouts? Yeah, when I put the blackouts in the camo guitar, which you'll see tomorrow, I had it all in there and had everything wired up per the diagram. At least I thought I did. And it wasn't working. So I come back over here and I took the cover off the back, had the guitar flipped over, and I'm looking to trace, and that's there's your power, that's jump, battery. And then it hit me. I had the battery to the wrong place, and I forgot the jumper from the center volume pot to the switch. Oh, crap. So I fixed all that. It took like a minute. I just had to unsolder, move, solder back up. So I get it all back together. I go over there, I plug it in, and full volume, everything's working. And I go like this, turn the volume down, and nothing happened. It's like all the way down. The tone worked all the way down. I still had full volume. And it came with two. This happened to me the other day too, and I put the one in the regular, not the powered one. I put 2 new CTS pots in that one, and the pot was bad, brand new. So I didn't even think about it at first, and then that's what it was. So when I got this blackout set, it came, because you can also put in a Gibson style. So it came with 4 pots. So I put the 2 in, the first 2 out of the 4, and the volume pot was bad. So I grabbed the second pot, or a third one actually, and put it in, and it was fine after that. Yeah. Just because it's new don't mean it's perfect. So, and tomorrow, tomorrow on Johnny's show, I'll be giving away the Jackson active set. And again, this was in a guitar that I got from Dane, so I got the guitar used. But there's the pots, and there's the input jack, and the battery adapter. So I'll give this away tomorrow on Johnny's show, so someone can win a set of Jackson actives with everything you need. I don't have a wiring diagram for the Jackson. You can probably look it up. I think they're pretty much all the same. But it had been so long since I had messed with active pickups. That's why I went by now I don't even know what I did with it. That's why I went by the diagram. But the diagram was weird because you either had the blade switch or the Gibson's 3-way switch. And it kind of showed you how to do this one, how to do that one. Then it showed then it had a line going between the 2 of them saying do this to that. And then it kind of skipped a section. So that's where I'd messed up. And I got it. Or they can send you the guitar. Oh, that's true. I can do that. But I'd rather have them do it, and maybe do it on one of the shows, and then we can walk them through it. That's how you learn the best. So these are used. They're factory Jackson actives. That I got that guitar used from Dane. So, but I took everything out of it because the blackouts came with all new wiring and everything. So you can do a pickup, Peggy. Just take your time. That's all. Just take your time. That's what directions are for. Which I don't know what not even. See, I'm still getting used to putting stuff in new areas, and I'm forgetting where I put stuff. So, where did that? Wow. I don't even know what I did with the directions from last night. That them? Nope. Huh. Hi, Abby. They're somewhere. Get rid of them because I know I didn't get rid of them. I just wanted to keep them in case something happened for reference. Because I haven't messed with active pickups in years. What? You gotta go inside? Come up here. Here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Look here. Here. Hi. Up here. No. All right. I got let her out. I'll be back. Unfortunately, I can't do anything while I'm gone. But here. I'll be back. Come on, Eve. All right. Sorry about that, everybody, or whoever's left. Sorry about that. I'm back. Hi, Jimmy. So, okay. So anyhow, I'll give these away tomorrow on Johnny's show. And someone can have fun with it. I tell you what, she's never, I've had her since she was 7 weeks old, and she's never once had an accident in the house. Never. Not even at 7 weeks old. Let me grab something else. Yeah, Peggy, that hollow flash That will be what I'm doing for Torsen, and it's going to be a custom, custom one-off finish that he's going to sell. So, and they do. By the way, he has a what do they call it? They have a overstock blowout sale going on right now. He had that on Facebook. It was like starting from like $100 and some. So he's got, I don't know how long it's going to last. I saw the posting today on Facebook. So yeah, it was like, and it had a picture of the orange and silver one like Johnny's got. That was one of the ones in the photo. I was kind of shocked to see the price, the starting price. I couldn't believe it. I love the pull-out knobs. The pull-out arms so much better. Yeah, it's a overstock blowout sale or something like that. I think he's doing a great thing too. For the price that you're paying for that guitar can easily go at least twice as much, if not 3 times more than you're actually paying. And I don't know how he's doing it, but I'm glad he is, because that's getting good affordable guitars and also in the hands of people. So yeah, he's doing good work. We had 2 bass players in the band. The first one was in for like 2 years, and the last one was in for 6 or 7 years. 7 years. And I'm still really good friends with both of them, and they know each other, and they're friends even. There was no hate when the first one got replaced. And he got replaced because wasn't because he couldn't play, it's he wouldn't stop the alcohol. And it got to the point where the show was, he was failing on the shows. And at that point in time, we were going in the studio and all this, and it was like, you know what, we need to do something. And so he was replaced. And yeah, he was mad at first for a couple weeks. Then he ended up coming back, and he joined the band, or he joined as our light guy. He ran all the lights, the fog and lights for the shows, which was great because he knew when to do what, and we didn't have to tell him anything. We didn't have to teach him anything. He already knew it. But both of those guys are coming here in October to lay down some bass tracks for some of my 40-some songs. And they were going to come at 2 different days. One lives in Pennsylvania. One still lives in here, Ohio, but he's down to very southern tip, so he's almost 4 hours away. And so they want to come. They're both going to come the same weekend. And we're going to be recording all weekend, writing and recording, and then going out for Burgatory and for Manny Brothers. So it's pretty cool. I mean, they like, I got this last, well, I said the last song I wrote. I got most of the music down for it anyhow. And my wife even, I had her come over and sit and listen to it, because she will, if she doesn't like it, she'll tell me. She's done that before. And she sat down and listened to that one. Usually she'll sit and listen to about 30 seconds of it, and that's it. And yeah, that's good, or no, whatever. This one, she sat through the whole thing that like 3 minutes I got of it down. And she listened to the whole thing. She's like, oh my God. She goes, that you haven't written anything like that for a long time. I'm like, well, thank you, I think. But then I sent them the BandLab link to it. And they're like, oh my God, we got to do this. So they're coming. We're going to try again. We're going to try to do it the same weekend, so they're both here, because there's room for them to stay. Yeah, like I said, she listens to about 30 seconds to a minute. This time she listened to the whole thing, everything I had done, and she couldn't believe it. She's like, wow. And with Cole, I sent some stuff to him too. And obviously Cole's going to be playing on some of my own songs. And then I am supposed to at one of their shows jump up on stage and then play one of their songs with them. And that'd be kind of cool, because like I said, when we were in the band and did all that, Cole was just born to 4 years. He'll sit there for a second. Well, yeah. I said, see? I said, there is no set rules. Just like there's no set rules for how high you need your strings. I hate that. You have to have this between here and here. No, you don't. You have to have it where it's comfortable for the guy who's playing it. That's all that matters. I put guitars up for people that had string buzz on the fretboard because they wanted it that low, but as long as it didn't go through the amp, they were fine with it. And if you go by I have that stupid tool right here. I'm surprised it don't have rust on it. That to me, that was just an idea to tell people, oh, you need this, and they can make money off of it. Because what the ideal setting should be on here may be too high or too low for me or you. I like my actions close, so as you can see. And I'm a lot closer than the recommended amount is. And you don't have any. No string buzz. I hate when they say, oh, no, you have to have that set between Yeah, that's got to be like 48 thousandths, and this got to be 42. No, don't. Got to be whatever whoever's playing. And here's another thing. I'll have people play the guitar when they drop it off. I have a light touch. I play with a light touch. Johnny, on the other hand, he's got a heavy touch. So ones that are set up for me probably won't work that good for him. I mean, you know, obviously he could do it, but it wouldn't be, I don't think he would find them comfortable because they're too low for his style of playing. But I also watch how hard they hit the fretboard. Because what you can do, if they hit it really hard, like, okay, well, you can't hear that. That's normal. Then if I press it real hard, so you hear the difference, there's your normal note. That's how I hit it. Now, if someone hits it really hard, so what you can do is if you know they hit it hard like that and it's going to go sharp, you can tune it a little on the flat side. So when they hit it, it'll be in tune. Well, I just did it with gloves on. That's what. But so there's a bunch of tricks to it. So not everything is all cut and dried as you think it should be. And for them to come up with a tool and tell you, oh, you have to have this because these have to be set this way. No, they don't. It's set however the person playing the guitar wants it. And what I'll do is before I give them the guitar back, usually I'm lucky enough, usually they come here to the house to pick it up. They'll drop it off and pick it up. And I'll have them play it before I let them take it out the door. Say, here, try it. Is this what you want? And if it isn't, you want it closer or higher. And then I'll mess with it right here with them there. And I'll say, okay, now try it. And I don't let them leave with it until it's like, hey, that's right. So that's more tricks. Tips, tricks. This one, these Fishmans sound better with this one pulled up. Now, let's see. I don't even know. Does it say how long this has been going on? I have no idea. Because it's going on it's almost 20 minutes, 3 hours. Holy crap. Well, you guys get 3 hours from me tonight. All right, I'm going to end this. And I, again, thank you, everybody. This was just an experiment just to do it because I was kind of like bummed that we weren't doing a show tonight. I didn't even know if it would work. You know, it's nice to know that I could do this if I ever need to. I may do more in the future while I'm actually working on a guitar. And that's it. Again, I don't want to create another show like Johnny's or step on his or Liza's toes. I do not want to do that because I love being on both their shows. I really do. And you guys in the chat are great. That's why I did this tonight because I was like, man, I got to talk to somebody. So anyhow, thank you everybody for coming by, hanging out. Sorry about the buffering. Like I'm not using StreamYard. This is actually just the Facebook Live. And I got it to where I can do it. And then for the Fretworks channel, I may be doing some more when I work on guitars, and you guys are more welcome to stop by. So thank you very much. And I will catch all you guys tomorrow night on the Johnny Bean TV network for Saturday night, where we will be going to the bench again. I'll have something to work on. I'm sure he'll have something to work on. So, with that being said, now I got to figure out how to end this. Thank you, everybody. And I really do. I'm grateful for this. You know, hopefully we pick up some more subscribers on this channel. That would work out great. So, all right. I will talk to everybody tomorrow. Talk with everybody tomorrow. And I will see you then. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Stay safe.